minutes away from first pitch here in the third game of a four-game set. The final home series of the year for the Bradenton Marauders, looking to take their third straight win over the Palm Beach Cardinals. Big right-hander Nick Economos, a.k.a. Moose, set to make his 14th outing with Bradenton. They've all been starts. He's posted a 6-3 record and an outstanding 1.94 ERA thus far. He's hand-selected the black alternate tops with the white home pants, as well as the alternate black caps with the yellow brims and the skull and crossbats logo. Palm Beach going with their alternate red tops, the gray road pants, and the blue caps, red brim, and the Palm Beach Cardinals logo emblazoned on the front. We'll set the defense prior to first pitch. Dylan Busby, the third baseman, manning down the hot corner. Shortstop Rodolfo Castro to his left. His double play partner up the middle is the second baseman Chase Lambert, with Mason Martin over at first rounding out the infield. It's Raul Hernandez doing the catching and filling up the battery this evening behind the plate. And the outfield left to right for Bradenton, Lolo Sanchez, Travis Swaggerty, and Cal Mitchell. Cord Kostler, our home plate umpire tonight, with Dexter Kelly, his partner currently stationed beyond the first base bag. Two-man umpiring crews here in the Florida State League. And leading off, stepping into the left-handed batter's box will be the second baseman Nick Dunn. Economos peers over the light tan glove, picks it up over the head. His first pitch is a fastball, down and inside. Call for a ball to get us underway. 6:33 the time of first pitch here on a rather cool, almost facetiously 88-degree Wednesday night in the friendly city of Bradenton. Another fastball, this one snapped up over the outer third by Hernandez. It's a called strike to even the count at 1-1 strike. Economos working quickly. 21st round pick of the Pirates back in 2015 deals. Another fastball, another called strike over the outer third. Count goes 1-2 to Dunn. Former Maryland Terrapin batting atop the lineup for the third straight game. Second baseman batting .241 with 3 home runs and 36 RBIs. Economos steals from the full wind on 1-2. Big breaking curveball down the middle, called for strike 3. Economos loves that curveball. He uses it any time and any count. Does so here to get the first out on a punch-out. His 59th strikeout of the year with Bradenton is also his 126th of the year. 1 up and 1 down. So far, so good for Moose. That'll bring up the shortstop, Michael Perry, with nobody on and 1 down here in the top of the first inning. Economos now has fired 79 1/3 innings between 2 separate stints in Bradenton. Has allowed 21 runs, 17 earned on 50 hits, 59 punch-outs to 24 walks. First pitch to Perry. He's missing off the outer third on a fastball. Call for ball 1 in a right-on-right matchup. Opponents batting a lowly 176 against Economos. Big 6'5", 224-pounder out of Worcester, Mass. That fastball is just off the outer third, but a check swing is a called strike as Perry moves the count 1-1, just not able to hold things up. Perry batting .232 on the year with a trio of home runs to go along with 18 RBIs. It's this slider on the ground to short, scooped up by Rodolfo Castro. His throw to first right on the money. A strikeout and a 6-3 ground out have the first 2 outs on the board quickly and easily for Economos. And a challenge right away with the third baseman Nolan Gorman working his way around to the left-handed side. Gorman, the #1 prospect in the St. Louis Cardinals organization. Also the #1 third base prospect in all of baseball. Comes in rated as the 28th prospect in the minor leagues by the MLB pipeline set. Infield deep, a step to the right all the way around. Not quite a shift against Gorman. First pitch fastball, down and away. Called for strike 1. Economos is not going to blow it by anybody. His fastball rests in the upper 80s. He'll tip into the 90s every now and then, but he's got that devastating curveball to go along with a slider and a rarely used changeup. Deals the changeup there. As I say, he doesn't use it much. It misses off the outer third at 78, called for ball 1 to even the count. Gorman, drafted out of the Arizona prep ranks last year in the first round, stands 6'1", 210 pounds, a native of Phoenix with an open stance. The 1-1 from Moose, swung on and missed. Fastball blown by him at 90 on the swing. Count goes to 1-2 strikes against Nolan Gorman. He was 0 for 4 in the loss last night. Palm Beach registered just 3 hits, with 2 of them coming from their 19-year-old catcher, Ivan Herrera. Now with the 3-man shift to the right, the 1-2 curveball misses just off the outer third. Economos had his strikeout strut going. He thought it was strike 3. Instead, the count goes all square. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. Economos will take the sign from Hernandez. He kicks, he deals. Gorman takes a fastball high and outside, and the count goes full to the #3 batter in the lineup. This is the 57th outing for Gorman with the Palm Beach Cards, batting .252 with 5 home runs, 15 doubles, and 3 triples. He's also driven in 21 runs. With the 3-man shift to the right, here comes the 3-2 payoff pitch. Swung on, line softly to center field. Heading towards the gap in left center will be Swaggerty. A little bunny hop as he reaches up with one hand above the head to make the grab. A quick and easy peasy top half of the first inning for Nick Economos. He sets down the side in order. It'll be Alvaro Seijas, the Venezuelan right-hander, to toe the slab for Palm Beach when we return. Lolo Sanchez leading things off here on the Bradenton Marauders Baseball Network. Nick Economos breezing through a perfect top half of the first inning on just 13 pitches. That'll bring up the Marauders to bat for the first time against Alvaro Seijas, getting the start tonight for the Palm Beach Cards, his second straight outing against the Bombington Bradenton Bats. It'll be Lolo Sanchez, the right-handed batting left fielder, in to lead things off. Once again, the Marauders with their alternate black tops on. The Palm Beach Cards going with their alternate red tops. A battle of the colors here on a Wednesday night in the penultimate home game of the year for Bradenton. Seijas, 4-1 with a 2.54 ERA since being added to the Palm Beach roster on July 3rd, making his 10th outing, and once again his second straight against Bradenton. The lanky 6'1", 175-pounder out of Maracay, Venezuela, will deal to the Marauders' speedy outfielder Lolo Sanchez, who took the first pitch he saw yesterday over the fence and left, got the game started off in a bombing way. So the Marauders were able to blast their way to a 9-0 win, back-to-back 9-run victories. Right-on-right matchup to get things going. The wind blowing out towards right field as Seijas' first pitch is down and away at 92. Called for ball one. Third baseman Nolan Gorman, step in front of the bag and hugging the line with the shortstop Perry deep and in the hole. Second baseman Nick Dunn, maybe a step up the middle. Big-bodied first baseman Lucan Baker rounds out the infield. 1-0 to Lolo is off the outer third on another fastball to bring the count 2-0. Ivan Herrera had 2 of the 3 hits last night for the Palm Beach Cards, making his second straight start behind the dish tonight. The outfield left to right, Nick Plummer, Tyler Reichenborn, and Chase Pender. Seijas deals from the full wide on 2-0. Lolo swings and rips a ball foul just down the third base side, clipping off the tarp that was on the field earlier, taken off about 2 p.m. and has been covered up since, and what's turned into a beautiful blue sky night here on a Wednesday in the friendly city. Sanchez with his average bumping over the Mendoza line at 204, an 8-point rise last night. Finished the game 2 for 4 with a home run and a single to go along with a fourth-inning sacrifice fly. Lolo now with 1 home run, 9 RBIs in 50 games with Bradenton. 2-1 fastball is called for a strike. It's Cord Kostler, our home plate umpire tonight, filling in for John Benkin, who was injured in last night's contest. So Kostler filling up the umpiring roster for the rest of this series. Another fastball, this one down and away. Count will go full to the leadoff batter for the Bradenton Marauders. Seijas in 49 and 2/3 innings has allowed 19 runs with Palm Beach. 14 of them have been earned on 51 hits, 38 strikeouts to 20 walks. He deals from the full windup on a 3-2 payoff pitch. Sanchez takes a called ball 4. That changeup missing just inside. Sanchez leading off, reaching base for the second straight game, although not quite the first pitch home run last night. Sanchez will take it. He's 11 of 16 in steal tries with Bradenton after going 20 of 30 for Low A Greensboro to start the season. Seijas dealing out of the stretch early on. Sanchez off first with nobody down. Still scoreless in the bottom of the first inning. After an off day yesterday, it'll be Travis Swaggerty in from the left side. First round pick last year, batting .264, 9 bombs, 39 ribbies, and a full year here in Bradenton. First pitch is swung on and missed. Seijas stealing a slider down and in. A fastball, a slider, and a changeup in the arsenal for the Venezuelan right-hander. Baker holding on at first. Gorman over at third in front of the bag. Middle infield, both double play depth. Looking to roll one up on a grounder. Seijas comes set looking to first base. Big lead for Lolo. He runs. It's a curveball down the middle. Throw from Herrera is not in time. Sanchez sliding in headfirst and safely. Now 12 of 17 in steal tries with Bradenton. Sanchez runs often, and he runs well. Getting a great jump there. The off-speed pitch giving him the valuable milliseconds necessary to reach headfirst and safely. So while Swaggerty takes a called strike 2, a runner advances into scoring position ahead of him. Swaggerty leads the team in steals with 22. Looking to get on here. Seijas set at the belt. A couple of taps to the left foot prior to the 0-2. Pair looks back to second. Turns to the dish and deals. Swaggerty rolls over a slider, trickles one down the first base side for a foul ball. Raul Siri coaching down the first base side tonight with Argenis Diaz, former big league infielder with both the Pirates and the Tigers. Marauders assistant coach in the third base box. In game 1 of the set, Swaggerty finished 1 of 3 with an RBI base knock and a pair of base on balls. After the foul ball, here comes the 0-2 from Sejas. Swaggerty takes a fastball just off the outer third from Sejas. That'll even up the count. Rather bring it to 1-2. Last outing for Sejas was against Bradenton last Thursday. 7 shutout frames. He spread out 6 hits and a walk while striking out just a pair. Swaggerty finished the game 1 for 3 against Sejas, 1 for 4 in total. The 1-2. Slider down and out at 77 is a called ball 2. Sejas now with the count even. That game last Thursday finished in a 3-0 loss. Palm Beach took the final 2 games of the 3-game set in the eastern part of the state at Roger Dean Chevrolet Stadium. It's been all Bradenton here in the final home series at Lecom Park. With the count all square at 2, Sejas will deliver from the stretch. Swaggerty swings and taps one to the second baseman. Dunn, who moves to the left. He'll glove, turn, and fire. All in time as Swaggerty grounds out but does the job, so to speak, moving Lolo Sanchez from second to third base. Game's first run 90 feet away from scoring with 1 down. That'll bring up Mason Martin, who knows a thing or two about RBIs. He has 126 combined. That number leads all of minor league baseball. Martin listed at 6 feet, 200 pounds. An absolutely stellar coming out party in 2019. 35 combined home runs and again 126 combined RBIs between Low A Greensboro, where he had 23 and 83 respectively, and here with the Marauders. The infield drawn in. Here's a right on left matchup with 1 down. First pitch from Sejas is in the dirt. Good block by the catcher Herrera. Martin batting just .238 with Bradenton, but the slugging percentage in that time a team leading .530. With an OPS above .860, you can put up with some of the swings and misses because when he connects, it goes far, including a home run on the first pitch of the 7th inning last night. First pitch thrown by the left-hander Patrick Dayton out of the pen. Sanchez off third. The 1-0 pitch to Martin is swung on and missed. Changeup fooled him as Sejas was able to pull the string on it. Count goes even at 1 ball and 1 strike. Aside from the home run last night in the 7th, Martin finished with a base knock in the 8th, and his final at-bat finished the night in total 2 for 4. Walked in the first and was one of the 3 RBIs. So the Busby blast in the first inning. 1-1, foul tip straight back into the mitt. A ball and 2 strikes from Sejas to Martin. Drafted in the 17th round of the 2017 draft out of Southridge High School in Kennewick, Washington, Martin's career high last year was 14. He has 20 more than that already. Looking to add on to that down the back stretch of the 2019 season. He's behind 1-2. Watches as Sejas comes set and fires. Change up downstairs. Good block by the catcher Herrera. Count all square at 2 balls and 2 strikes. The wind taking a turn and blowing straight away, but softly to center field. Martin does not need much help. Named by Baseball America as the Pittsburgh Pirates minor league organizational player of the year 2 days ago. Meanwhile, a 2-2 from Sejas. Slider down and out, called for ball 3. Second full count out of the first 3 batters. Sejas in his last time against Bradenton did not walk a batter. He has struggled with the walks thus far, though. 28 walks, or 38, I should say, in just 49 and 2/3 innings coming into the night. Making his 10th outing with Palm Beach, his 24th outing of the year. Still just 20 years old. Battle of 20-year-olds here. The 3-2 payoff, down and inside. That one bouncing in at 84. 2 walks out of the first 3 batters, already eclipsing his total from his last start entirely. Martin jogging down the first. There's going to be runners on the corners with 1 down. Chance for Rodolfo Castro to get the Marauders on the board first. Switch hitting shortstop, batting out of the cleanup spot in the lineup. Castro through 55 games, batting .247, 5 home runs and 26 RBI since joining the Marauders. Infield about halfway in all the way around. Middle infield still in double play depth. Sejas conceivably one pitch away if he can get a ground ball out. First pitch bounces in the dirt once again on a fastball. Good block by Herrera. Shakes off the right hand as it looked like that one tipped the thumb on the way by. Herrera's more known for the offense. He had 2 of the 3 hits entirely for Palm Beach yesterday. But he's great behind the plate. And when this series wraps up, the Marauders will have played 7 games in 10 days against Palm Beach, so they're a couple of sides that are very familiar with each other. Sejas has been out of the stretch from the jump. Walked Lolo Sanchez, who promptly stole second. Moved on the swaggerty ground out. After a Mason Martin walk, runners in the corners. A 1-0 pitch. Castro swings and misses badly over a slider diving down by the feet. Right on left matchup. Moves to a ball and a strike with an out. In the win last night, Castro finished 1 of 4, but scored 2 runs. He walked in the first and was one of the 2 runners on base when Busby went yabo in the first. He then singled and was driven in by Busby again on a 2-run shot in the 7th. Swings here, rolls one down the first base side. Sanchez is going to come across and score. First baseman Lucan Baker picks up the ball, makes the tag on Castro running down the first base side. An RBI on a ground out for Castro, and the Marauders on top for the 2nd straight day in the home half of the 1st inning. Mason Martin advancing from 1st to 2nd as well. That'll put a runner in scoring position with now 2 down on the board for Cal Mitchell. Leads the club with 62 RBIs, 2nd on the team in home runs with 14. Mitchell also 2nd on the club in hits with 111 and 446 at-bats. Averages out to a 249 clip. He's in from the left with an open stance. Sejas from the right out of the stretch. First pitch to Mitch, right down the pipe at 92. Called for strike 1. Mitchell, a 2nd-round pick of the Pirates 2 years ago in 2017. Hailing from Rancho Bernardo High School in San Diego, California. Same prep academy that produced Trevor Williams. Currently in the Pirates rotation. Here's the 0-1. Sejas fires and misses off the outer third at 90 for a called ball 1 to even the count. Mitchell finished with a good day yesterday. A sacrifice fly in the first counts as a plate appearance, but not an at-bat. He struck out twice and also doubled in the 5th. His 21st 2-bagger of the year moved him all alone, 2nd place in the club in the doubles category. 1-1 fastball way up and away. It goes off the mid of the catcher Herrera, rolling towards his own dugout. That'll move Mason Martin from 2nd to 3rd on just the 4th wild pitch in over 50 innings for Alvaro Sejas. So another runner 90 feet away. This time with 2 outs, though, it's going to take another one of those wild pitches or a Cal Mitchell base hit at the very least to give the Marauders a 2-run advantage here in the home half of the 1st. Bradenton has now scored in the 1st inning in every game since Sejas' last outing against him. 6 straight contests in which Bradenton has at least gotten on the board in the 1st inning. Mitchell takes a changeup downstairs to bring the count to 3-1. Mitchell can expand the lead. He's looking for a fastball here and a good hitter's count. Sejas set at the belt with 2 down. His 3-1 offering to the plate. Swung on and tapped foul down the first base side. It's the 3rd 3-2 full count out of the first 5 batters. The Marauders working up the pitch count of Alvaro Sejas early. Sejas spelled S-E-I-J-A-S. Started the year with Low A Peoria, 4-5 record. And a 2.93 ERA in 14 outings, spanning over 80 innings. Here we go with a payoff pitch. Mitchell swings, pops one up to left. Coming in softly is the left fielder Plummer. He'll settle underneath, reach up with one hand to make the grab. The Marauders on the board in the 1st inning for the 6th straight game. After Lolo Sanchez walked, stole 2nd, moved to 3rd on a ground out. Rodolfo Castro rolls over on a ground ball to the first baseman Lucan Baker, touching Sanchez up from 3rd. We're on to the top of the 2nd. It'll be Lucan Baker to lead things off against Nicky Economos when we return. Nicky Economos back out for the top half of the 2nd inning, pitching with the lead for the first time. 1 run on a pair of walks and an RBI ground out. And Economos dealing to Lucan Baker the 1-0 advantage. Big swing from the big first baseman. He comes up empty on a fastball at 88 to bring the count, no balls and a strike. Matt and Everett coming at you live from Lecom Park here in the 2nd to last home game of the year for the Bradenton Marauders. Baker swings and rolls one up the middle. Backhand grab by the second baseman Lambert. A jump throw is way out the line. Mason Martin, the first baseman, has to come off the bag. It'll be ruled as an infield base knock, perfectly placed over the head of the pitcher Economos by Lucan Baker. He's on with his 105th hit of the year. He's the only Palm Beach Cardinal with over 100 hits. He's on first, not much of a base stealing threat to speak of. Economos is going to deal out of the stretch for the first time. Breezed through a 1-2-3 first inning on just 13 pitches. It took Alvaro Sejas 27 offerings to spin through the first. Moose's first pitch downstairs to Nick Plummer is a called ball. Left-handed batting left fielder, batting just 174 this year. 5 home runs to go along with 29 RBIs for the first-round pick of the Cardinals back in 2015. 1-0 out of the stretch is hammered to right. This one's going to fall in the corner for extra bases. Takes a short hop off the base of the wall. Mitchell stumbles as he goes to pick it up. With Baker, a big body at 270 pounds. He'll only advance from first to third on the 15th double of the year for Nick Plummer. After retiring the first 3 batters quickly and easily to get the game started, first 2 batters of the second inning, singling and doubling respectively against Economos. That'll put 2 runners in scoring position off second and third. Still nobody out as Chase Pender, the number 6 batter in the lineup, is going to stand in from the right. Right fielder batting 203 to go along with 4 bombs and 20 RBIs. Younger brother of Oakland Athletics right fielder Chad Pender. Chase stands 6'1", a $190, 7th round pick in 2017. First pitch from Moose is off the outer third. It's a called strike. Third base home side dugout does not like that. A couple of words for Cord Kostler, our replacement umpire. Of course, John Bacon was in the field yesterday. Was injured at some point during the game, and it'll be Kostler filling out the rest of this series as the umpire to go along with Dexter Kelly. Here's the 0-1. Pender swings and misses at a slider going down and out. Count goes quickly, 0-2. Economos is in his 3rd outing since being returned from Double-A Altoona. Posted an 0-3 record and an 8.83 ERA in 4 outings, including 3 starts with the curve. A lot of organizational shuffling. Send Moose back down to Bradenton. Here's his 0-2 from the stretch. Swung on a tapper off the end of the bat to shallow right center. That's going to drop. Baker touches it up. Only in a 90-foot advancement from second to third for Nick Plummer. What a throw by Swaggerty. And if Plummer wasn't going, he's definitely stopping there. Swaggerty firing it to the plate on a line. But 3 consecutive hits have the tying run across. Back to where we started, all level. This time with the score at 1-1 in the top of the second inning. Pender's 21st RBI of the year will set up runners in the corners, still with nobody out here in the second frame. Economos has now allowed 53 hits in 80 innings across his 14 outings, including tonight with Bradenton. That'll bring in the DH, Dennis Ortega. Normally a catcher, serving as a designated hitter tonight, in from the right side. First pitch from Economos is a curveball. At the knees, it's a called strike at 75. 21 pitches, 15 strikes for the right-hander. Hailing out of Worcester, Massachusetts. Drafted out of Mercer County Community College in New Jersey back in 2015. Takes a look to first. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. Line drive knocked straight back. Count goes quickly to 0-2 against Ortega. Batting .212 with a home run and 8 RBIs. Another Venezuelan on this Palm Beach roster. Stands 6'2", 180 pounds. He's been in the system since being picked up as an international free agent back in 2013. Comes the 0-2 offering. Ortega swings at a curveball, pops it up to left field. Tagging up at third is Plummer as Lolo Sanchez advances on it. He'll make the grab, a fake to the plate, and the throw cut off by Dylan Busby. Strong throw by Sanchez, keeping Plummer at bay at third. Goes as the first out of the second inning on a pop fly to left off the bat of Ortega. That'll bring up Ivan Herrera, the catcher, who had 2 of the 3 hits for Palm Beach last night. Couple of sterling outings atop the mound for a pair of Bradenton arms last night as Osvaldo Beto in his second outing off the injured list needed 40 pitches to spin through 3 innings of no-run, 1-hit ball. Connor Loprich, awesome way to end it. 6 shutout frames, allowed just 2 hits, including the second of Herrera's 2 base hits yesterday. Checks the swing on a first pitch. Slider going over the outer third at 85 is a called strike. Herrera in 16 games with Palm Beach has 13 hits and 51 tries. Good for a .255 average, a single home run to go along with 4 RBIs. Another slider on 0-1, this one missing off the outer third. You got Nick Plummer at third, Chase Pender on first after an RBI single-plated Lucan Baker. Score knotted up at 1, although the Marauders did not have a hit in the first. Sejas walked Sanchez and Martin. Castro brought in Bradenton's only run thus far on a ground out to first. Runner breaks to second base. Curveball is a called strike. Hernandez couldn't get it cleanly out of the glove. That'll give a stolen base to Chase Pender, the first of the year for the outfielder. He's now just 1 of 4 through 72 games. That'll also put runners on second and third. No double play, at least in the traditional sense, for the Marauders here in the second. Herrera comes in as the number 6 prospect in the Cards organization as well. Hits this curveball out to shallow center field. Leaping is the second baseman Lambert. He's not going to get it. Ball goes underneath the glove of Swaggerty. Rounding third and scoring easily, he'll be Chase Pender. Herrera will earn at least 1 RBI on that base knock. We'll have to see if there will be an error charge to Swaggerty. There will be. So Herrera with 1 RBI and Pender advancing from third to home on E8. Just the third error of the year by Swaggerty. It's the third run of the inning and of the game for the Palm Beach Cardinals. So they have their second lead of the series. It's their first past the first inning. So now with a runner on and 1 down, Economos looking for a ground ball double play off the bat of the number 9 batter, the center fielder Tyler Reichenborn. Added to the Palm Beach roster yesterday. Swings of the first pitch, cracks one out to left field. Sanchez sprinting back to the track. He's at the wall. He looks up, and this one is gone. Tyler Reichenborn with his first home run in a Palm Beach uniform, and the Cardinals expand their lead to 5 here in a 5-run second inning. Reichenborn is not a big body. Listed at just 5'11", $180. I think those both might be overestimates. Reichenborn with his first home run in his 2 games with Palm Beach. It's just his 4th home run of the year after spending the first 21 games in the Gulf Coast League. That'll bring us back to the top of the lineup, with Palm Beach now leading by a 5-1 tally. Economos set to deal to Nick Dunn. Dunn struck out looking on a big breaking curveball that rained in from the heavens to get the contest started. It's been the only punch out for Moose thus far. First pitch in a right-on-left matchup is fouled straight back. Dunn has struck out once today. He struck out twice yesterday en route to an 0-for-4 outing. Fans in each of his first 2 at-bats. Takes a curveball there, called for a strike. And Dunn then popped out to right and second respectively in the 6th and the 9th. Economos trying to limit the damage here, with nobody on and 1 down. The 0-2 pitch. Curveball tapped just foul down the first base side into the Marauders' first base home side dugout on a couple of hops. Economos missed the Palm Beach Cardinals when Bradenton was in Palm Beach last weekend. 0-2 fastball swung on and missed. Dunn set down on strikes for the 2nd time. Second out of the second inning for Economos comes on his 60th punch out with Bradenton. 5 runs on 5 hits, all coming after a perfect first for Moose. He's looking to limit the damage to that and give the bats a chance, as Marauders have been blasting Palm Beach pitching in the set. 20 combined runs through 2 games plus the first inning tonight. Shortstop Michael Perry swings at the first pitch, grounds it up the middle. Heading behind the bag is the shortstop Castro. Bounces a throw way up the line. That'll take a bounce off the retaining wall and back into the field of play. No advancement for Perry. He'll reach on what is ruled an infield base knock, perfectly placed behind the base, and Castro sacrificed a strong throw for a quick release. Check it out on our MILB.TV replay. He knew that was about his only chance there. Only problem was that it was 20 feet up the line and didn't give Mason Martin a chance. That'll bring out the pitching coach Drew Bennis nice and early here in the top half of the second inning. 5 runs, 6 hits for Palm Beach. They're all coming this inning. With 2 out and a runner on, it'll be Nolan Gorman as the number 9 batter of the inning awaiting. Everybody atop the mound right now talking to Economos. The Marauders 5-6 this year against Palm Beach. They're looking to even up the season series as these next 2 games are going to decide it. The Marauders 3-2 here at Lecom Park, with the only other set between the Marauders and the Cards on May 9th and the 11th. After a rainout on the 10th, the Marauders were swept in a twin bill by scores of 4-3 and 5-1 after taking the first game of the year by a 5-1 tally. That'll be the first mound visit used out of the 10 that you're allotted at the Advanced A level. Gorman in from the left, 0 for 1 with a line drive flyout to center field to wrap up that perfect first inning. Three-man shift to the right. Second baseman Lambert shallow in right field with Martin holding on at first. First pitch swinging is Gorman. He can't connect on a fastball. Well, he's had a lot of success this year and obviously the high laurels, ranked as the top prospect in the system. A definite swing and miss tendency. He's got a lot of strikeouts and even more swings and misses. Quick throw to first base sends the runner Perry diving back in head first and safely. Prior to the pickoff attempt, the third baseman Busby moved back to a normal shortstop alignment. Plenty of room on the left side for the pull-happy Nolan Gorman. 0-1 pitch, snap back up the middle, dropped into the shallow center field area for a base knock. Palm Beach batting around in the second inning as Perry advances from first to second on Nolan Gorman's 53rd hit in just 56 games with Palm Beach. Lucan Baker led off the second inning on a tapper that split the middle infielders. He'll get his second at bat in the frame as the Palm Beach Cards have 5 runs on 7 hits in the second. Right on right matchup with 2 on and 2 down. Economos hoping to slink out of this inning and keep it at just 5-1. First pitch to Baker. It's the curveball at the knees. It's a called strike to bring the count 0-1. Baker was eventually plated on a Chase Pender flare over the head of the second baseman Lambert, then tied up the game at 1, and 4 more runs since. Have the roadside up by 4, the biggest lead in the last week. Baker taps the ball back to Economos, who leaps to make the grab. An underhand flip to first will wrap up a 5-run second inning. Bradenton with some work to do, entering into the bottom of the second inning, trailing by a 5-1 score already. You're tuned in to the Marauders Baseball Network. The Marauders with some work to do. Stepping into the bat for the second time, trailing by a 5-1 score. 10 batters, 5 runs, 7 hits against Nick Economos in the second inning. It'll be the number 6 batter to lead things off, trying to begin the comeback trail as Lucas Tankis steps in against Alvaro Sejas. A long layoff between half innings for the right-hander out of Maracay, Venezuela. First pitch to Tank, fastball at 91, belt high and over the plate, center cut. Called for strike 1. Tank is serving as the designated hitter tonight. A team-leading 285 average, 9 home runs and 57 RBIs. Fastball off the outer third from Sejas will even up the count. Tank is in his second full year in Bradenton. He has had much better results here in year 2 than in year 1. In 94 games last year, Tank has batted just .213. Swinging a hot shot ground ball ripped right to the third baseman Gorman. A low throw down the line, picked out by Lucan Baker. Leadoff man set down to kick off the second inning. Sejas pitching with a lead for the first time. That'll bring up Dylan Busby, who is the Marauders' home run king. No Bradenton Marauder has had more than 19 home runs since Quincy Lattimore accomplished the feat back in 2010 in the inaugural season. Here in the 10th season of Marauders baseball, Busby, 22 bombs, 63 RBIs. Right-handed batting third baseman out of Florida State. Watches as Sejas rocks and deals from the full wind. Fastball down the pipe at 94 is a called strike. Alvaro reaching back for a little something extra there. Good size on Busby, 6'2", 205. Now resides in Bradenton. Third round pick back in 2017. He's a local kid from Sarasota. Takes a heater downstairs for a called ball 1. Make it called 2. 2 balls and a strike as Sejas about 50-50 on the balls and strikes. It's dead even now at 16 and 16 out of his 32 pitches. You remember he walked a couple of batters back in the first inning. Busby watches the slider outside, called for ball 2. Big day for Buzz yesterday. A 3-run home run in the first was capped off by a 2-run shot in the 7th. It was the second homer of the game and the second of the 7th inning coming out of the stretch as Mason Martin led it off with a solo shot off Patrick Dayton. There's another slider, this one breaking over the outer third for a called strike at 83 to even the count up at 2-2. We're here in the penultimate home game of the year for the Marauders. Getting the start in the final contest at Lecomte Park of the year will be Gavin Wallace tomorrow night. 2-2 lined into center field, falling for a base knock. Busby with his third hit in the last 2 games. This one just a single, his 78th hit in total overall. We'll put a runner on first. The Marauders trailing by 4. That's how you start the comeback, simply by getting runners on base. Buzz on first with 1 down. That'll bring up the right-handed batting catcher, Raul Hernandez. A couple of Venezuelans doing battle. The Maracay native on the mound in Alvaro Sejas. Raul out of Maturin. Picked up as an international free agent in 2014. 4th-year pro, stands 5'11", 210. First pitch up and in at 92 is a called ball. Raul on the year, batting .247. Still looking for that first home run to go along with 19 RBIs. Hernandez with 62 hits, including 14 doubles. Those have been all of his extra base knocks. Fastball bounced down and in at 91 will bring the count to 2-0. The wind blowing straight out. This would be primetime territory for Hernandez to get a hold of one here. He was off yesterday, but got the start in the series finale against Daytona. Finished 0 for 3 with the walk and the 10-3 defeat back on Sunday. 2-0 from the stretch is watched for a called strike over the inner third on a fastball from Sejas. Added to the roster on July 3rd, was 4-5 with a sub-3 ERA and 14 outings in low A Peoria. Struck out 71 over 80 innings. He struck out 38 over 50 here at Palm Beach. Hernandez skies one to left. As the shortstop heading out, the left fielder Nick Plummer coming in and calling him off. He'll make a one-hand grab at the chest to put the second out on the board here in the second inning. That'll bring up the number 9 batter, Chase Lambert, for the first time. Right-handed batting second baseman out of Pepperdine, playing in his 40th game with Bradenton this year. Lolo Sanchez was able to bring his batting average over the Mendoza line at 200 last night. Lambert looking to do the same here this evening. It's going to take a couple of hits as this 191 batter entering into the night. Busby off first with 2 down. Sejas set at the belt. Takes a look to first. Turns to the dish and deals. Lambert, first pitch swinging. Hot shot ground ball that goes off the glove of Perry and into center field. Rounding second and heading to third is Dylan Busby. A 2-base advancement on what will be ruled an E6 for Perry. Lambert hit it to him on a missile. A short hop that looked like it skipped off the heel of the glove and was hit so hard it bounced into the outfield. Those ones are tough. A lot of top spin on the grounder from Lambert. Heads up base running by Busby, breaking on contact with 2 down. He was easily able to stride into third. That'll put runners in the corners with 2 down. We're wrapping back to the top of the lineup for the first time. Lolo Sanchez in from the right. He walked and was eventually scored. It's been the only offense for the Marauders. Nice looking slider snapped over the plate at 81 for a called strike. Lolo also stole his 12th base in 17 tries. He's got 32 steals on the year in 46 attempts. Lambert held on at first by Baker. Nobody checking Busby off the bag at third. Lolo checks the swing there on an 0-1 slider. No appeal granted. Home plate umpire Cord Costa is going to say that he was able to check that swing. You don't want to miss the 5th inning. I'll be joined by Joel Hardman of Prospect Dugout. We'll talk about what he does as far as getting high school players recruited. He's got a new app on the way and a couple of big-time showcases, not only around the country, but around the world. This one swung on and tapped off the end of the bat in foul ground, touched up in foul territory by the first baseman, Lucan Baker. Count goes 1-2 to Lolo, native of the capital city of Santo Domingo in the Dominican Republic. Sanchez standing 5'11", $167. He can really fly. Getting on base, that's been a struggle for him. On base percentage at .302, higher than his slugging percentage at .280. At his first home run on the first pitch of the game yesterday in the 9-0 win. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Swung on and missed. Changeup going down and in fooled him. Sejas allows a single, allows another runner to reach on an error, but earns his first strikeout, batting Lolo Sanchez to wrap up the second. We're on to the third. Palm Beach still on top by a 5-1 score with their number 5 batter due up. You're listening to the Bradenton Marauders Baseball Network. Nothing going for the Marauders entering into the top half of the third inning. It's Palm Beach still on top by a 5-1 score. Matt Everett coming at you live from Lecom Park. Left-handed batting left fielder Nick Plummer will watch a first pitch fastball, clipping the inner third at 88 for a called strike 1 to get the third inning started. Economos allowed 5 runs on 7 hits in the second. Looking to calm the waters here as he gets a big swing and a miss from Plummer on an 0-1 changeup. Count goes quickly to 0-2. Plummer doubled to right in his only other at-bat back in that 5-run second inning. Was plated on an Ivan Herrera single. Swings here, another line drive to right, this one dropping over the head of the first baseman, Mason Martin. Cal Mitchell, the right fielder, picks it up and fires it in. That'll limit Nick Plummer to just a single. His second hit of the game, his 51st hit of the year, is the second straight leadoff batter to reach against Moose and the Marauders. Overall in that second inning, 5 runs on 7 hits, 2 men left on. 10 batters were sent to the plate as Plummer leads things off with the 8th hit of the game already. That'll bring up Chase Pender from the right side. Right fielder registered an RBI base knock in his first and only at-bat back in that big-time second for Palm Beach. Economos out of the stretch. A first pitch fastball up and away. Called for a strike at 89. Pirates and the Phillies doing battle in the final game of a 3-game set from Philadelphia. After a walk-off home run by Sean Rod back on Tuesday, I should say. The Pirates were able to hold on to a 5-4 victory. An only comeback try from Philly that fell short last night. Slider missing off the inner third for a called ball 1. That'll even up the count to Pender. Economos lifts and fires. Big swing and a miss on a slider from Pender. Count goes to a ball and 2 strikes. The Phillies got started off hot offensively. Cesar Hernandez with an RBI single, followed up by RBI doubles by Adam Hazley and Rhys Hoskins. After 3 innings of play, it was 3-0, but Josh Bell with his 34th home run of the year, 2-run shot on the top of the 4th that brings the Bucs within a run, 3-2 score. Runner breaks, curveball called down, throw from Hernandez is in time, tagged out by the second baseman Lambert. Plummer caught stealing for the 3rd time this year. How about the laser strike from Raul Hernandez behind the plate? Score that one 2-4 on the putout in your scorecard at home. Hernandez was highly heralded coming into the year for the rifle of a right arm, showing it off there down the back stretch of the season. That puts it out on the board, the 2-2 count. Moose back from the full wide, he kicks and deals. Line drive hit to center field, Swaggerty ranging back. Center fielder makes the grab on the move while turning around. After a leadoff single, a caught stealing and a line drive out, all of a sudden, have the first 2 outs on the board with nobody on. Economos hoping to get through another 1-2-3 inning like he did in the first. That caught stealing, by the way, for Hernandez was his 18th of the year in 59 tries, bringing his percentage back up over 30. Here's Dennis Ortega, the right-handed batting DH. Fly out to left in the second. No inkling to swing whatsoever. First pitch curveball drops right down the dish at 74. Economos picks the hands over the head, turns and fires. A tapper back just to the left side of the mound. Charging is the third baseman, Busby. A low throw on a bare hand try is in time. What a play from Busby. He's got the single season home run record, but he is outstanding with the glove as well. After a leadoff single, third inning turns into a 1-2-3 frame for Economos. 2, 3, and 4 due up for the Marauders, still trailing by 4 here on the Marauders Baseball Network. Nick Economos, a.k.a. Moose, able to work through a 1-2-3 third. He's been 3 up and 3 down in 2 of his 3 innings. The only blemish was the 5-run second. I want to give a shout out to the Economos clan. They tune in every Marauders game, but especially the Moose starts a big watch party up in Worcester, Massachusetts. To think that they triple the viewership. So give a shout out to the Economos clan, avid fans of not only Nick but also the Marauders. Leading off, the left-handed batting center fielder Travis Swaggerty. Swaggerty grounded out to second in his only other at bat. Takes a fastball outside from Sejas to get the third inning started. Swaggerty with a team-leading 119 hits on the year. Leans away from a fastball way up and in at 90. With the count 1-1 to Swaggerty, the score 3-2 still in Philadelphia. That game heading into the bottom of the 4th as we speak. Mitch Keller looking for his 2nd straight win, coming off of likely the best outing of his major league career. Another fastball down. Count goes 3-0 to T-Swag. Taking a look around the Pirates minor league affiliates. AAA Indy 7-4 winners over Toledo in an early game today at Victory Field. Swaggerty watches a fastball over the inner third. It's a called strike. Count goes to 3-1. James Marvel, 6-0 with the win today. with a 2.91 earned run average in AAA Indy. Marvel was outstanding here in Bradenton last year. Swaggerty pops this one straight back on a fastball from 3-0 to 3-2. Sejas has now worked the count full to Travis. Jeff Hartley with his third save of the year for Indy. He's been bouncing back and forth between AAA and the big leagues all season. Here comes the 3-2 payoff. Sejas from the full wind deals. Swaggerty takes way up and way out. It's the third walk of the game for Sejas, his first since the first inning. And the Marauders with a single hit, but they've put their fifth runner on already. Leadoff man reaching for the second time out of the first three frames, both on walks. That'll bring up Mason Martin, who, wouldn't you know it, walked back in the first inning. Double-A Altoona doing battle against the Akron Rubber Ducks as we speak at PNG Field in Altoona, PA. The score here in Bradenton 5-1. Altoona leading Akron 5-1 as well. 67 and 67 are the curve on the year. Looking to move above 500. Alvaro Sejas set from the stretch. First pitch slider just off the outer third at 78, called for a ball. Swaggerty, a definite stolen base threat. Trying to move into scoring position, possibly. 22 swipes in 30 tries. Both numbers lead the club. Standing very close to the bag at second is the shortstop, Michael Perry. First baseman Baker holding on. Runner breaks. Martin swings and pops one straight up to right center field. Heading over into the gap is the center fielder, Tyler Reichenborn. Still battling with the sun. He'll guard the face with the glove, reach up with it to make the grab. Martin puts his first ball in play. It's a fly ball out to center field. Swaggerty retreats back to the bag at first. One out, one on. Here comes Rodolfo Castro. Switch hitting shortstop, due up from the left. His ground out in the first inning, played at Sanchez from third. It's been the only offense for the Marauders tonight. Low-A Greensboro in the bottom of the second inning at home against the Rome Braves, trailing the Bravos by a 1-0 score in South Atlantic League action. Meanwhile, the first pitch to Castro, a check swing. Yes, he did on a fastball, says our home plate umpire, Cord Kostler. Count goes quickly to 0-1. In the New York Penn League, the West Virginia Black Bears leading over the Batavia Muck Dogs by a 3-1 score. That game in the middle innings, beginning with the top of the fourth in Morgantown, West Virginia. Meanwhile, here's the 0-1 to Rodolfo Castro. Swaggerty breaks. Castro fouls one straight down once again. Two steal tries for Swaggerty, wiped out on balls put at least off the bat. The Martin flyout sent Swaggerty back to the bag to put the first out on the board, and that foul ball straight down will not only bring a winded Swaggerty back to the bag at first, but move the count to 0-2 to Rodolfo Castro. The Bristol Pirates leading 4-1 over the Danville Braves. That game in the bottom of the third inning at Boyce Cox Field in Bristol, Tennessee. And the GCL Pirates fell 5-1 to the GCL Red Sox today at JetBlue Park in Fort Myers. Quick throw to first, picked out of the dirt by Baker. Sliding in head first and in time is Travis Swaggerty. Castro with RBI number 27 back in the first inning. One run on one hit for Bradenton thus far. 5 on 8 for the Cards. Here's the 0-2 and a right-on-left matchup. It'll come after a throw to first. A tight throw to the bag. Swaggerty just able to get that right hand back in there on the head first dive. Rodolfo Castro looks down the third base side. Third base coach Argenis Diaz gives him a point, says, you go ahead and swing away on 0-2. Outfield deep, respecting the pop off the bat of Rodolfo. Here comes the 0-2 pitch from Sejas. Swaggerty breaks again, a swing and a miss, strike three. Throw down to second is not in time. Swaggerty sliding in feet first and safely. Very nearly slid through the bag. So while Castro records the second strikeout for Sejas on the game, Swaggerty steals his team-leading 23rd base of the year in his 31st opportunity. Second stolen base against Palm Beach today. Runner in scoring position off second with two down. Here comes Cal Mitchell in from the left. Swaggerty breaking a three-way tie for 8th place in the FSL in stolen bases with that one. Now moves into a 4-way tie for 5th place at 23. Nobody's catching Brock Deathridge all alone at 45. Line drive right into the glove of the pitcher, Sejas. Rather be lucky than good there. Martin with a smile. Mitchell, knew nothing that he could do would matter. He ripped it. Sejas just swiped the glove at it. It went right into the webbing. Check it out on our MILB.TV replay. A game-saving grab by Alvaro Sejas will wrap up a 4-batter third inning on a line drive back to the pitcher. We're through 3. Coming back with the middle innings, beginning with the 4th. 8, 9, and 1 due up for Palm Beach when we come back on the Marauders Baseball Network. No runs on no hits and a walk. Travis Swaggerty stranded on second base. Entering into the top half of the 4th inning, the Marauders still down by 4. 5-1 lead for Palm Beach is their biggest of the set. Ivan Herrera, the catcher, and from the right side to lead things off against Moose. First pitch up and in, clips the batter on the arm. Just got him on the outside of the bicep. You could hear 2 distinct noises. One, the ball hitting the arm of Herrera, and the ball going into the glove of Raul Hernandez. First pitch that Economos throws coming out of the first 3 innings is a hit by pitch to Ivan Herrera. It's the 6th batter that Economos has hit in 14 outings, including tonight with Bradenton. Puts a leadoff runner on for the 3rd straight inning. He was able to work it into a 1-2-3 third after Nick Plummer was caught stealing. Herrera, not a stealer whatsoever. He's a foot off the bag as Tyler Reichenborn watches a first pitch curveball. That one snapping over the inner third at 73 for a called strike. Reichenborn was added to the roster yesterday. Finished 1 of 3 in his club debut with just 1 of 3 hits overall. He homered in his first at-bat today back in the 2nd. Another curveball swung on and missed. It bounces off the leg of the catcher Hernandez. That one skips down the third base side as well and will allow Herrera to reach second base. So after he was hit by a pitch, a wild pitch will put him on second. It's the 7th wild pitch for Economos with Bradenton. Reichenborn is a native of St. Louis Park in Minnesota. Drafted in the 35th round last year by the Dodgers out of Tennessee Wesleyan. He was released after last year. Picked up as a minor league free agent on July 16th, just over a month ago by the Cards. 0-2 goes with another curveball. Moose misses outside. Reichenborn started his tenure with the Redbirds in the Gulf Coast League. In 21 outings, registered 3 home runs, 8 RBIs, and 10 walks to 15 strikeouts. 17 hits in 68 at-bats. Recorded a .250 average on the nose for Reichenborn. Slider going down and away from him. Freezes him and bounces in the dirt. A backhand pick by Raul Hernandez. That'll move the count to 2 balls and 2 strikes. Economos making his first outing against Palm Beach ever. Was with the Marauders from May 21st until July 17th when he was called up to Double-A Altoona. He's pitched at 3 different levels in the Pirates organization this season. Here's the 2-2 from the stretch. Reichenborn takes a curveball just down and maybe a bit off the outer third. Count goes full for the first time. Economos has dealt 53 pitches. 40 of them have been for strikes. He's knocked around in that 2nd inning. Just 1 of the 8 hits coming in a frame other than the 2nd thus far. The 3-2 payoff offering. Swung on, hit on the ground to short. Moving up the middle is Rodolfo Castro. Throw on a line right to the first baseman. Martin is in time. Reichenborn grounds out 6-3 for the first out of the 4th inning. We're back to the top of the lineup. 3rd at bat from Nick Dunn coming here in the 4th inning. He started out last night 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts. He's done the same tonight. Economos froze him on a curveball to start the game off with a backwards K. Dunn then struck out swinging for the 2nd out of that 10-batter 2nd inning. Left-handed batting second baseman with an ever so slightly open stance watches as Economos comes set at the chest. First pitch fastball popped down the left field side. Heading into the corner is Lolo Sanchez. He leaps and it's over his head and off the base of the wall. He can't pick it up cleanly either. That'll allow Herrera to advance from 3rd to home and advance the lead to 5. A 6-1 advantage for the Palm Beach Cardinals here in the top of the 4th inning. That'll go as a double for Dunn. His 19th 2-bagger of the year. Just his 2nd hit of the series. He earns his 37th RBI of the year as well. Let's take a look. Looked like off the bat that Sanchez had a beat on it. That one just kind of kept carrying on him. The ball grew legs. Sanchez with a leap, but not quite enough as Dunn reaches 2nd, trading places with Herrera. Another runner on with one down. That's the 9th hit of the night for Palm Beach. That'll bring up the shortstop, Michael Perry, who's 1 for 2. Right on right matchup begins with the curveball missing away, called for ball 1. Perry grounded out to short for the middle out of that 1-2-3 first, and then singled in the second. It was stranded on second when Baker tapped out back to Economos to end it. Right-hander comes set, kicks and deals on 1-0. Slider hit back up the middle. It's the second baseman Chase Lambert making the grab behind the bag. He'll set the feet and fire to first in time. Advancing from second to third is done. Perry moves to 1 for 3 on the night. Runner on third with 2 down. Here comes Nolan Gorman, who stung a line drive right to Travis Swaggerty that wrapped up the first inning, and then singled in the second. Full slate of action and then some around the Florida State League, with one postponement as well. Charlotte and the Florida Fire Frogs unable to get things going from Charlotte Sports Park. Curveball right down the middle, called for strike 1 to Gorman in a right-on-left matchup. They're also playing a twin bill at Jack Russell Memorial Stadium in Dunedin, with the Blue Jays taking a 2-1 victory in Game 1. They're in the second inning in Game 2 right now, still scoreless. Gorman fouls a curveball straight back. Count goes quickly, no balls to 2 strikes. Clearwater and Lakeland knotted up at 1 in a matchup with some playoff implications. That game at Spectrum Field in Clearwater. 1-1 score in the top of the 4th. Both the Flying Tigers and the Threshers played at a single tally in the 3rd frame. The 0-2 pitch. Gorman swings and misses badly on that curveball. 1 run on 1 base hit. Economos hits the leadoff batter Herrera. He comes around to score, but earns his 3rd strikeout to wrap up the top half of the 4th inning. 6-1 lead for the Palm Beach Cardinals. It'll be Lucas Tankis to lead off when we return for the bottom of the 4th on the Marauders Baseball Network. Palm Beach adding on to their lead in the top of the 4th. A Nick Dunn RBI double, expanding the road advantage to 6-1. Lucas Tankis set to lead off for the 2nd time as we get into the bottom of the 4th inning. Take a first pitch changeup inside in a right-on-right matchup as Sejas falls behind Tankis. 1 ball to no strikes. Tankis began the 2nd with the ground out to short. His batting average still .285, the best on the Marauders roster. Takes an off-speed pitch at the knees for a called strike to even the count. Done with the double after Ortega was hit by the first pitch of the inning. Advanced to second on a wild pitch, and that gave him all the advantage he needed. The slider missing down and in will start off the at-bat 2 balls to a strike. We were starting to get you around the league before we were so rudely interrupted by the final out of that 4th inning. Again, a 1-1 score in Clearwater. Lakeland and the Threshers doing battle as Tankis pops this one up right side foul ground. Catcher Herrera moves towards the Marauders dugout, leans over the railing, and watches it drop on top of the dugout and bounce into the seats to even the count up at 2. St. Lucie has dropped 12 consecutive games. They're taking on the Daytona Tortugas for the 3rd time. It's a 1-1 score at Jackie Robinson Ballpark. That game entering into the 3rd inning. The Tarpons and the Hammerheads doing battle in a twin bill from Roger Dean Chevrolet Stadium. Jupiter blanking Tampa 4-0 in Game 1. Tarpons for now leading 4-3 in the 5th inning of Game 2. Tankis swings and misses. An off-speed pitch down and out at 84 fooled him. Alvaro Sejas with his 3rd strikeout of the night, his 2nd out of the last 3 batters. It's also the 2nd leadoff batter he's been able to retire. It's been Tankis both times. 1 out, nobody on. Here comes Dylan Busby, who slapped a single to center field in the 2nd. He's the Marauders' home run king. The most home runs in a season ever for a Bradenton Marauder belong to this man right here, Dylan Busby. He's got 22 thus far. 62nd pitch from Sejas comes to the 3rd baseman. Swinging line drive, wrapped down the right field side. That one's going to drift and fade into the seats. After a lot of rain earlier today, it's cleared out and it is a picture-perfect Wednesday night for baseball here at League Park in the 2nd to last home game of the year. That's not going to be the case this weekend. A lot of rain expected as it is now Hurricane Dorian bearing in on the east coast of Florida, expected about Sunday. 0-1 to Buzz, backs him away at 93. Call for a ball. If you want tickets to the last home game for the Marauders tomorrow, give Zach Hankel a call, 941-747-3031, or visit BradentonMarauders.com. It's the final Thirsty Thursday of the year, brought to you by our friends at Budweiser and Ticket Sarasota. Change up downstairs is a called ball 2. Sejas has that ball bounce out of the glove a la Johnny Cueto. No Cueto chance as it was in the 2013 wild card game between the Pirates and the Reds. Russell Martin with a big-time go-ahead home run that sent the Pirates on to the NLDS, where they would fall in 5 games to the Cardinals in Andrew McCutchen's MVP season back in 2013. Slider off the outer third and a right on right. Count goes to 3-1. Busby looking to match his 2 home run performance yesterday. Came after he homered, not just any homer, a grand slam in the 3rd inning of Game 1, his 2nd grand salami of the year back on Tuesday. Swings and misses here. Fastball blown by him at 89. Back-to-back punch-outs for Sejas to begin the 4th. He now has 4 on the game, with exactly half of them coming in this inning alone. Economos has 3 through 4. He's been a bit more efficient with the pitches. Moose at 60, still into the 5th. Busby takes a ball down and outside. Scoreboard had it wrong, I will say. At 3-2. Now Busby reaches on a walk, so that'll put a runner on with 1 down. So Sejas back to 3 strikeouts. Now that we got that squared away, there's a runner on with 1 down. That'll bring up Raul Hernandez from the right side. Hernandez flied out to left in his only other at bat. It was the 2nd out of the 4 batters 2nd inning. Big swing and a miss. Slider moving away fooled him. Count will go 0-1. Busby is on first for the 2nd time tonight, once with the benefit of a hit and once with the base on balls there. 6 runs on 9 hits. A nice night for Palm Beach thus far at the dish. 1-on-1 for Bradenton. A couple of walks and an RBI ground down in the 1st have their only offense on the board. Tight slider breaking over the inner third at 77 to bring the count no balls and 2 strikes. In a battle of the Venezuelans. Sejas leans with the glove on the left leg as he takes the side from the catcher Herrera. He'll come set and bring the hands together. Drops him to the belt. Here's the 0-2 to Raul. Swung on and missed. Another slider. Some tight action on that slider as it moved away from Hernandez. Now the 2nd strikeout of the inning for Sejas. So all that stuff I said about Busby striking out wasn't true. It's true now with 4 strikeouts in the game for Sejas. He's got 42 with Palm Beach, half of them here in the 4th inning. It's been the only 2 outs of the frame, with Dylan Busby off the bag at first. That'll bring up the number 9 batter, Chase Lambert. 2nd baseman out of Pepperdine is 0 for 1, but reached on an error back in the 2nd inning. Hit a missile that took a short hop in front of the shortstop Perry and bounced off the heel of the glove into shallow center field. First pitch in a right-on-right matchup. Good-looking curveball at the knees. Called for a strike. Corey Dickerson with a solo home run in the 5th. Phillies now doubling up the Pirates by a 4-2 score in the final game of that 3-game set from Eastern PA. Pirates will travel out west tomorrow to take on the Rockies at Coors Field. Lambert checks the swing on a breaking ball down and out. Able to hold up, and the count goes to 1-1. Tomorrow it'll be Mayamo Trevor. Trevor Williams, 6-6 record and a 5.35 ERA. Up against Chichi Gonzalez for the Rockies. Still looking for his first win of the year. He's 0-5 with a 6.43 ERA. An 8:40 start Eastern time. That game, of course, in Colorado, that's Mountain Time, so it'll be a 6:40 local start. Here's the 1-1 to Lambert. Swinging a pop fly, shallow to right field. Heading back is the first baseman, Baker. He won't get it. That one drops in the cut of the outfield grass as Busby rounds 2nd and heads to 3rd base. Just the 2nd hit of the game for Bradenton. Comes off the bat of Chase Lambert, who has now reached twice. In both ABs, he's moved Busby from 1st to 3rd. They both come with 2 outs, eerily reminiscent in the 2nd and the 4th for Lambert. That'll put runners on the corners. We're back to the top of the lineup with Lolo Sanchez, the 5th batter of the inning, stepping in from the right. First baseman Baker is a big boy, listed at 6'4", 265. Tough to drop the heel and turn like an NFL defensive back. Just quite couldn't get there in time. Sanchez 0 for 1 with a walk and a strikeout. He scored the only Marauders run thus far. Watches a first pitch heater way off the outside from Sejas. That'll bring the count to 1-0. After Sejas was added to the roster on July 3rd, he didn't make his first outing with Palm Beach until the 6th. 5 innings, allowed 2 runs on 4 hits on the road at Hammond Stadium against the Fort Myers Miracle. Bounces the pitch down and away here. Good watch by Sanchez as the right-on-right matchup will move to 2 balls and no strikes. Sejas entering into the night, 4-1, the only defeat coming at his home stadium at Roger Dean Chevrolet Stadium. Split site between Palm Beach and Jupiter here in the FSL. It's the only minor league complex that houses 2 teams year-round. Allowed 4 runs, 3 earned on 7 hits over 5 innings, and a defeat. He's coming into the night winner of his last 3 in a row and 4 of his last 5. His 76th pitch of the night comes on 2-0. Falls off the outer third on a curveball, missing away. That'll bring the count 3 balls and no strikes to Sanchez. Sejas has been back and forth with the strikeouts and the walks. 4 punch-outs, 4 bases on balls, including Busby here in the third. He's only allowed 2 hits, though. Lola watching all the way on 3-0. Ball 4 downstairs. That'll load the bases for Travis Swaggerty. 2 down here in the 4th inning. So now 5 walks to 4 strikeouts. That'll send the catcher Ivan Herrera out to have a word. Now, we were talking about those late season implications in that series between Lakeland and Clearwater, and the pitching coach Will Oman out as well. He wants me to talk about these. In the Florida State League, it is a half schedule, as it is across most of minor league baseball. The South has been set for a while. Fort Myers won the first half. Charlotte won the second half. The North, not quite so much. Dunedin won the first half of the year with a 41-24 record. They were the best team in the league in the early part of the year. They're ahead by a game over the Lakeland Flying Tigers entering into the night in the half. Tampa 2.5 out, but they dropped game 1 of that doubleheader and behind in game 2. If Dunedin wins the second half, it'll go as the wild card, and it goes by the year-long standings. Now, those are completely different. Clearwater and Daytona are battling for that. They are tied entering into the night. Lakeland 13 back, Tampa on the outside looking in at 16 back. So Clearwater and Daytona neck and neck heading down the back stretch of the year. Daytona's tied against St. Lucie. Clearwater is also tied against Lakeland. So a lot of playoff implications, but all in the other division. The South has been decided for a while, with Charlotte and the defending league champ Fort Myers Miracle going to do battle beginning on the 3rd in the first round of the FSL playoffs. That'll bring up Travis Swaggerty with the sacks full. He's 0 for 1 with the ground out in the first inning. He walked and stole his team leading 23rd base in the 3rd inning. Watching a first pitch changeup in the dirt. That's a called ball 1 to Swaggerty. Right-handed arm loosening in the bullpen for Palm Beach. It'll be Edgar Escobar, the Cuban import, 6'1" and a stocky 220 pounds. Sejas has not allowed much, but the 5 walks have driven up his pitch count. This next one will be his 79th. Comes on 1-0. Swaggerty taking all the way on a fastball. They're going to make him work here. Bradenton trying to bounce Sejas after just 4. Now you have to qualify for a win with 5 innings as a starter. That's usually the benchmark of, even if a guy's struggling, the team will try and work him through 5. That may not even be the case, as Bradenton has been working some long at-bats. Not to much avail today. Swaggerty swings on 2-0, pops it up, left side, foul ground. Heading towards the wall is the third baseman, Gorman. He'll reach over and make the grab in the first row. Swaggerty now 3 of 8 on the year with the bases loaded. Strands him full here and keeps the score at 6-1. Nice grab by Gorman down the line. We've played 4 innings. When we come back with the 5th, I'll be joined by Joel Hartman of Prospect Dugout. You don't want to miss it. This guy's a gem. Keep it locked right here. You're tuned into the Bradenton Marauders Baseball Network. Entering into the 5th inning, the Marauders down 5. A 6-1 lead for the Palm Beach Cardinals is Lucan Baker. Big-bodied first baseman set to lead things off from the right. Nicky Economos in his 5th inning of work through 60 pitches. His first pitch from the full wind of Baker is swung on and missed. Strike 1 on the swing. I'm Matt Neverett, joined by Joel Hartman of Prospect Dugout and of the Bradenton Marauders. You work here, you work there, you work everywhere.
I work everywhere.
I wanted to ask you this because Prospect Dugout is almost an all-encompassing media facet now.
Yeah.
It's a lot. There's a lot going on. I'm going to say in one sentence, if you can, give me what is Prospect Dugout?
An exposure brand for athletes and products.
That's fair enough. And it's specifically high school and collegiate athletes. Is that fair?
No, it's amateur, youth down to little league, and then all the way through professional baseball. We actually did professional tryout earlier this year.
And you have some professional baseball experience
do.
as well. So
I
tell
do.
me about that. What's your pro ball experience like?
My pro ball experience is 5 years minor league ball. My prominent season was yours truly, the Washington Wild Things,
There
just
you
south
go,
of
yeah.
Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. That was a fun time there. Played in New Mexico, Arizona, Texas, Pennsylvania. I've been around.
A little bit of everything. And now you're here with us. You're one of our promotional assistants doing
Yes.
everything from setting up, taking down, throwing out the T-shirts. We got you running a camera. You are literally a jack of all trades.
Jack of all trades, man. I love doing the camera. I've done 5 or 6 games down in the pit, done 1 game upstairs above high home. It's been exciting.
So tell me a little bit more about Prospect Dugout. It's a two-person company. It's you and your business partner, Craig Maddox, who's also a former baseball player. Not Greg Maddox, but Craig Maddox.
Craig Maddox, yes.
He's also a former player. So how did this all start? How did it all come together?
Yeah, so essentially it was just an idea of helping players get exposure outside of high school showcases. I mean, you spend the money and you go to a showcase, but what do you do when you go home? So that was the idea. After being in it 3 years now, we've learned so much. We've made so many connections, just so much through social media that it's really proven exactly what the idea was, to use social media to get exposure. And we've just proven it through social media.
Especially in today's day and age where a lot of the athletes themselves are using it to try and get themselves exposure. As Economos, back-to-back strikeouts to get the inning started, by the way. Here comes Chase Pender, the right fielder. I'm Matt Neverett, joined by Joel Hartman of Prospect Dugout. You mentioned your pro showcase, and you brought up the showcases and how you kind of want to change how the showcases are viewed both by the athletes and by the schools or the clubs themselves. So what goes on in the showcases that Prospect Dugout specifically puts on?
So we've done a pro showcase where it was more of, actually we had 284 guys earlier this year.
Wow.
We partnered with the Atlantic League. That's actually the league that Major League Baseball uses to test some of their wonky rules that they're contemplating. But essentially, we put them in front of all the professional managers from the Atlantic League, and there was 12 big league scouts there. Ended up 48 of those guys from the 284 played professionally this year. So, we're using the platform that we've built to not only get the exposure for the players and the coaches that are there, but then for the players and the coaches that are elsewhere.
Absolutely. And with social media nowadays, I mean, you're all over Twitter, you're all over Instagram, you're all over everything. It's easier to find players now than ever before. Here comes the 2-2 to Pender. Fouled straight back. Economos trying to breeze through a 1-2-3 fifth inning. And it's not just a one-off thing with you in the Atlantic League. It's a long-term partnership, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, we partnered on a 6-year deal. So this March was our first season and our first year, and this year coming up, 2020, we're actually looking at doing 2 locations. We're going to do Peoria, Arizona. And then actually was talking with Ray about using Pirate City, but there was a conflict with minor league baseball. So, now we're looking elsewhere, but we got plenty of time for that.
Yeah, there's a lot going on over
There
at Pirate
is,
City.
man.
They do all
There
the spring
is.
training. All the GCL guys are housed there. Baseball Factory, there's a lot there. I'm sure you're familiar with a lot of the guys from Baseball Factories. Chase Pender swings and pops one up to shallow right field. It'll be the right fielder, Cal Mitchell. Look off the center fielder, Travis Swaggerty, to make the grab. Here's how these things work, Joe. Whenever I have somebody on the air for these interviews, it's either a quick and easy 1-2-3 inning or a 10-inning bomb fest. Can I get you for another half frame?
Absolutely.
He's Joel Hartman. I'm Matt Neverett. We've played half a ball game here in the penultimate home game of the year for the Marauders. Bradenton coming to bat in the bottom of the 5th, trailing by 5 here on the Marauders Baseball Network. Officially in the second half of tonight's action, in the third game of 4 between the Marauders and the Palm Beach Cardinals, it's Mason Martin to try and begin another comeback, with Bradenton trailing by a 6-1 score. Matt Neverett coming at you live from Lee Comp Park. Once again, joined by Joel Hartman, not only of the Marauders, but also of Prospect Dugout. Joel, thank you for coming back with me during the inning break.
Absolutely. I enjoy being up here with you.
Absolutely. I love having you. I remember we talked last year, and to be quite honest, I didn't know a lot about Prospect Dugout. I did not know you that well, but in working with you in the last year, I've got to know not only you, but also your business and really a product in terms of Prospect Dugout. And you use apps like Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, but you've got your own apps coming on. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so essentially we have 2 apps. One app is basically a baseball Instagram where you're just posting videos and highlights. And our other app is more of a detailed, if you have a LinkedIn profile, it's got resume and things like that. So that's what the other app is, and that's for players to post their practices, their workout routines, and their schedule and things like that. So coaches and scouts can actually get a detailed look at what the players are doing throughout the year.
And as we mentioned in the last half inning, you've got some pro experience as well, so you kind of know what it takes to not only play at the collegiate ranks, but also at the professional ranks. We talked a lot about the showcases as well. What is one thing with these apps and with your content that you're kind of hoping to change about the way that players maybe found, maybe developed? What's your main goal as far as changing a lot of the ways that these guys are going to be able to progress?
I think the one thing that I always hear from parents and even from some players is that they don't want to seem like they're putting themselves out there. They don't want to seem like they're being arrogant or whatnot. But, I always reply with, if you're building a business, you have to market it. So
Absolutely.
you're essentially building your own business for yourself to play at the next level, so you have to market yourself. So I think that's the mentality change. The most difficult part is the mentality change of telling the parents you need to put yourself out there more.
Yeah, as an announcer, I can definitely get behind that.
Yeah,
You're
there you
always
go.
kind of marketing yourself, kind of putting yourself out there in ways that maybe at first kind of seem uncomfortable. Here's the switch-hitting shortstop Rodolfo Castro after Mason Martin strikes out swinging to get the inning started, and Alvaro Sejas, likely in his final inning of work, begins with a first pitch fastball. Speaking of fastballs, your son Lucas has a pretty good fastball.
He does.
He's one of the top-ranked pitchers, not only in Florida, but in the country, one of the top 100 right-handed ranked pitchers. I'm sure that he uses a lot of this stuff to his benefit as well. Tell me about that relationship.
He does, yeah. He actually has used his Instagram posts to garner some attention. He's got coaches that are reaching out to him, travel ball coaches saying, hey, can you come down and pitch for us in West Palm Beach? Can you come pitch for us, up in Tampa or up in, Georgia for the perfect game events like that. So he's getting, messages and text messages all the time. It's crazy.
That's what it's all about. You mentioned putting yourself out there, especially when it's someone that you're close to that kind of runs it. There may be some hesitancy to kind of do that, but it doesn't seem like Lucas has had any problem kind of adapting and using a lot of these tools.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a pretty good fastball, too. I watch a lot of the stuff that you put out. It's a lot of great content, and it's really only getting better. How did the content start out? Did you mainly just focus on players pitching and putting themselves out there? Because a lot of your stuff now is hilarious. It's a lot of funny content that's entertaining.
Yeah. And I think, that's cool that you hit on that, because when we started, it was simply finding kids that were on Instagram and reposting them and just, building that content like that. And as we've grown over the last 3 or 4 years, we've realized that it's more than just the exposure, because we can provide entertainment. We can provide documentary style. We can provide informational style, instructional style, whatever it may be, to keep kids, to keep coaches, to keep parents engaged in the platform. And it's led to so many different opportunities. A lot of the brands that we work with, we simply met through Instagram.
It goes back to a lot of the marketing principles that we're talking about. Not only do you want to get somebody initially to find your page, you want to keep them there.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of the content that you provide is really funny. It's a lot of entertaining, but also educational stuff. I want to go back to the showcases because as a former pro and collegiate player yourself, I'm sure you're familiar with it. And with your son as good as he is pitching, I'm sure he has done a lot with the showcases as Rodolfo Castro works a walk to reach base here in the 5th inning. So what did the idea start out with? How do you even begin to formulate, I want to start these showcases for these guys? What was your first one? We'll start with that. What was your first showcase?
Our first showcase was the Pro Showcase in March, and we held that at Tigertown in Lakeland.
That's a great facility too.
Yeah, it was amazing.
That's a great facility. So what did that showcase look like? How did the players do it? How did the scouts come and find out? And what actually went down?
So we used our relationship with the Atlantic League, and all the managers from the Atlantic League teams were present, and then we used connections that we had just from being in the game, base hit up the middle.
There you go.
All the connections that we've had, just through playing the game we got a handful of, we got 12, 13 Major League scouts there, and then word spread, putting ads out on Facebook, putting ads out on Twitter and Instagram, and kind of hyping it up, and then all of a sudden we're getting phone calls and emails from other managers from different professional leagues saying, hey, I want to come to the showcase and see what you guys got.
Cal Mitchell, as Joel mentioned, an RBI, or not an RBI, just a regular base knock up the middle, advancing Castro to second. 2 on and 1 down for Lucas Tankas, due up for the 3rd time. It's the first time he has not led off an inning. Once again, he's Joel Harbin, not only of the Marauders, but of Prospect Dugout.
It says it on the name tag right
Absolutely. So what's next? What are you looking ahead? What is next for Prospect Dugout?
Yeah, I think we want to expand. foul ball. I think we want to expand more into the media side of things, stay focused with the long term of helping athletes get exposure. But, I mean, I've had major league guys reach out to us through Instagram. I'm going Saturday to watch Zach Plesac pitch for the Indians against the Rays. He's getting me a BP pass to come and watch, and I literally commented on a post on one of his posts on Instagram. He DM'd me back. He's been sending videos. We've been chatting back and forth. He trained here at SCF before spring training to get ready for spring training, and we did a video there. And so it's opening up doors to work with. I had emails today with Bombat, with Blast Motion, with SSK. Bo Bichette is local. He's in Clearwater, and actually had his agency, Creative Artists Agency, reach out. They want us to connect in the off season and do some content with him. So I think there's so many nice little double steal. I think there's so much opportunity out there that we didn't even realize that if we stay focused on the end goal, it's just going to open up so many doors for us.
Yeah, like you said, Rodolfo Castro breaking off the bag early. He's done that a couple of times, especially towards third base. He's able to slide in safely as the throw from Herrera went to second base. Mitchell sliding in ahead of a bouncing ball, so all of a sudden, the 1-1 count to Lucas Tankis. There's a ball, a strike, and out. The Marauders may be starting to get back in here. You talk about what's next for Prospect Dugout media-wise. What about the showcases? What are some future showcases you have on the agenda?
Yeah, so we've got the Pro Showcase coming up in March, like I said, in Arizona and in Florida. But then we want to kind of transform what we've done at the pro level and do that with the high school athletes and giving them, kind of a dual exposure. So getting them in front of college coaches in person, but then also creating video content that we can go and promote online. Because there's other recruiting services out there, and we don't want to label ourselves as a recruiting service because I don't know anything about recruiting. To be honest, I'm not gonna talk to somebody and say, yeah, you should do this, do that, because I don't know. I'm gonna talk about and preach what I have learned and what I know. So getting them exposure and teaching them how to use their cell phone. Essentially, you just need your cell phone.
It's really easy. Yeah. It's really easy, and you guys do a great job of it. It's such a small company with all the content and everything else you guys put together. It's awesome. This one grounded down the third base side as Castro touches it up. The throw to first is in time as Tankis drops to 0 for 3, but earns his 58th RBI of the year on a rollover ground out. Castro from third to home. That double steal ended up being a pretty important one. As Mitchell advances to third, the second out will be the last out recorded by Sejas. Manager Dan Bilardello out to the pen. It'll be Edgar Escobar coming in the Cuban Missile Crisis, entering in from the left field bullpen. One last thing, Joel. How can people find you? Free publicity here. Not only the Prospect Dugout, I want them to follow you because you're a fun follow on Instagram too.
ProspectDugout.com, Prospect Dugout on Instagram, and Hardy02 if you want to follow me and keep track of what's going on here at Lecom Park.
How about the app? How can people get the app? Because that's what interests me a lot.
Yeah, it's available on Android. It's available on iOS just by going to the App Store and searching clubhouse.pd.
Awesome. He's Joel Hartman. Prospect Dugout is awesome. It's the future in recruiting and being seen by college, indie, and professional teams. Thank you so much for joining me.
Absolutely. Thanks for
having me. We're going to pitching change here on the Marauders Baseball Network. Back with the resumption of the home half of the fifth when we return. Alvaro Sejas bounced one out shy of being able to qualify for the win. Lasting 4 2/3 innings, he needed 98 pitches, mostly because of the 6 walks. He also struck out 5. Thus far has allowed 2 runs, both earned on 3 hits. Can't quite close the book on him yet with Cal Mitchell off the bag at third, charge to him if he were to score. To the Cuban immigrant, number 15, Edgar Escobar, up against Dylan Busby with 2 down in the home half of the fifth. First pitch slider, snapped over the inner third at 84, called for a strike. Busby has reached base twice, singled in the second, walked in the fourth, one of the, again, 6 walks for Alvaro Sejas, a new season high at any level for the Venezuelan righty. The Cuban righty Escobar deals. Busby checks the swing on a slider going down and away at 86. That'll be called for a ball to even the count. Big thank you to Joel Hartman of Prospect Dugout for joining me. Talked to him last year, got a good chance to know him, and then them working with the Marauders had an awesome chance to not only get to know him, but Prospect Dugout, not only as a recruiting service, but as a media entity. They do it all. Go find them on Instagram, Twitter, and everything else. Busby swings right through a 95-mile-an-hour heater. Letting the gas loose here is Escobar. Right-hander wearing number 15 out of Ciudad Habana in Cuba. 6'1", 220-pounder. Picked up as an international free agent last year. He's 22 years old. Dealing to Dylan Busby. Third-round pick out of Florida State 2 years ago. 1-2 pitch. Swung on and popped straight back off the hands. Count stays 1 ball and 2 strikes to Dylan Busby. Escobar was added to the Palm Beach roster on August 2nd. Since then, in a couple of different outings, I should say. He's 0-1 with a 4.32 ERA. This is his 16th outing with Palm Beach. 1 save and 1 try. 25 innings, he struck out 31 batters. Working out of the stretch with Mitchell off a third. The 1-2 to Buzz. Fastball high and tight at 95. Look out, Buzz. He's got to turn around quickly and get that front left arm out of the way. And the count goes even at 2-2. If you're just joining us, Palm Beach up by a 6-2 tally. Lucas Tankis earning an RBI on a ground out, driving home Rodolfo Castro for the only run of the 5th after the Marauders got on the board first in the first. 2-2 pitch, swung on and missed. Busby down on strikes, retired for the first time tonight. And the line closed on Alvaro Sejas. Again, not in line for the win after just 4 2/3 innings. But 2 runs both earned will keep his ERA at 2.65. And after 5 innings of play, it's Palm Beach 6, Bradenton 2, back in 90 seconds on the Marauders Baseball Network. We're on to the 6th inning. Palm Beach on top of Bradenton by a 6-2 score. Matt Everett coming at you for the second to last time at Lecom Park here in the 2019 season. Both the Marauders' runs have come on RBI groundouts. One off the bat of Rodolfo Castro in the 1st inning. One off the bat of Lucas Tankis in the 5th inning. Both runs charged to Alvaro Sejas. Give you his final line in a moment. Moose back out for the 6th. Dennis Ortega, the DH, in from the right to lead it off against him. First pitch, fastball over the outer third for a called strike at 88. The final line on Alvaro Sejas. Didn't pitch long enough to qualify for the win. 4 2/3 innings, 2 runs both earned on 3 hits, 6 walks to 5 strikeouts. Another fastball, this one missing outside to Ortega to even the count. Sejas labored through the first couple of innings. 98 pitches, 53 for strikes, ERA rising from 2.54 to 2.65. Big swing and a miss from Ortega on the looping curveball. He goes down to a knee and stays there. He looked baffled by that spinning pitch from Economos. 77 offerings from the right-hander, 59 strikes to just 18 balls. He has been all over the strike zone. Only real blemish was a 5-run second, which he surrendered 7 hits over 10 batters. 1-2 curveball poked in the air down the right field line. Cal Mitchell, the right fielder, settling underneath. He'll reach up to make the grab. Ortega retired for the 3rd time. Moose in a nice little stretch here. He's retired the last 6 batters after a Nick Dunn RBI double expanded the lead to 6-1. Marauders on the board in the home half of the 5th. They trail by 4. Number 8 batter is the catcher Ivan Herrera. He is 1 of 1, an RBI single in the 2nd. He was eventually plated on a home run off the bat of Tyler Reichenborn, the number 9 batter who is awaiting on deck. Herrera was hit by the first pitch of the 4th inning against Economos. First pitch goes better here, but misses up and inside on a curveball. Herrera just 19 years old, coming in as a top 10 prospect in the St. Louis Cardinals organization, number 6 overall. 1-0 knocked straight back my way. That'll bring the count to 1-1. Herrera born on June 1st, birthday of yours truly, but in 2000. Forget millennial, he is a Gen Zer. $200,000 in the bonus, signed out of Panama City in Panama. Curveball breaks through the top of the strike zone. Count goes to 1-2. Herrera has done wonders for his rating, at least as far as the MILB pipeline set goes. Came into the season ranked number 20, enters the night ranked number 6. 1-2 curveball laced down the right field side. Right fielder Mitchell able to cut it off and limit Herrera to just a single. Herrera had 2 of the 3 hits last night for Palm Beach. He's got 2 hits and 3 plate appearances tonight. 2 for 2 with a hit by pitch. He scored in each of the prior times he's reached base. With 1 out and the catcher on first, Economos is going to look for a ground ball off the bat of the number 9 hitter Tyler Reichenborn. Center fielder picked up on July 19th after being released by the Dodgers. Reichenborn clubbed a 2-run home run in the 2nd. It's his 4th home run in the Cardinals organization and his 1st with Palm Beach. Spinner misses outside, called for ball 1 at 75. Reichenborn grounded out to short for the first out of that run-scoring 4th inning. Moose will look for something similar here. Big gap on the right side. Martin holding on at first. Lambert near the bag at 2nd. Off-speed pitch off the outer third at 84 is a called ball to bring the count 2-0. Some movement in the right field bullpen. A couple of bodies up and stirring. Looks like the Texan lefty Ike Schleybaugh is going to pick up a ball and start firing. 2-0 pitch. Swung on and missed. Slider going down and outside fooled Reichenborn. Economos picked up that slider when he joined Bradenton. He threw a fastball and a great curveball, and every now and then used a changeup. But that slider has given him an ever-important fourth pitch, especially as a starting pitcher. Here comes his 2-1 to Reichenborn. Curveball, big swing, even bigger miss. Economos is a big boy, 6'5", 225. Does not throw that hard in the upper 80s in the fastball, but he uses that curveball ad nauseum whenever he can. Gets great results and a ton of swings and misses. Here's the offering. It's a curveball hammered in the air to center. Sprinting back is Swaggerty. Still on the move is the center fielder. This one's off the base of the wall and bouncing back to Swaggerty. Getting the wave to the dish is Herrera. Throw from the cutoff man will be held as Reichenborn with an extra base hit once again. Now 2 for 3, a home run and a double. He's got 3 of the 7 runs batted in. Herrera showing off some wheels, scoring all the way from first. His 3rd run scored of the game will bring the score to 7-2. So Reichenborn on second with 1 down. 7 runs on 11 hits for Palm Beach. That'll bring up Nick Dunn, who doubled home a run in the 4th after striking out twice. Wants to lead off the game in the 1st and another one in the 2nd inning. Nick Economos set, kicks and deals. Dunn, first pitch back up the middle. Diving is Castro. It's underneath the glove of the shortstop and into center field. It just squirts by Travis Swaggerty. And while Dunn will not be able to advance from first to second, that gives Reichenborn enough time to round third and touch it up as the Palm Beach Cardinals now quadrupling up the Marauders by an 8-2 tally on 12 hits, and that'll end the night for Moose. Manager Wyatt Terregas out from the dugout in the first base line. It'll be Ike Schleybaugh in to try and close out the 6th inning. Another 2 spot for Palm Beach. They lead 8-2. Economos out, Schleybaugh in. We'll get to the partial line for Moose and the numbers on Schleybaugh for the year when we return. Pitching change here on the Bradenton Marauders Baseball Network. 6'4" southpaw hailing out of Keller, Texas. It's Ike Schleybaugh on to try and stop the bleeding here in the 6th. 8-2. Palm Beach Cards on top after Nick Economos was roughed up today. All started with a 5-run second, another run in the 4th, 2 runs across thus far in the 6th. Shortstop Michael Perry will be the first batter that the lefty will face. First pitch swung on and ripped foul down the third base side. Ike Schleybaugh, 4-1 with a 2.4 ERA thus far with Bradenton. 6'4", 219 pounds. Drafted in the 19th round in 2015 by the Pirates out of Timber Creek High School in Keller, Texas. He's got a runner on first. Nick Dunn with an RBI single to score Tyler Reichenborn from second and advance the lead to 6. Schleybaugh misses down and away at 91. Fastball called for ball 1 to even the count. Partial line on Moose. Can't quite close the line on him yet with the runner on first charge to him if he were to score. 5 1/3 innings, 8 runs thus far, all earned on 12 hits. He didn't walk a batter, struck out 5. 1-1 slider stays upstairs. Economos dealt 88 pitches, 67 for strikes. Well, that number in and of itself sounds awesome. Economos with those 12 hits, not quite so awesome. Every now and then, a bit of effective wildness can really advance your feel on the hill. 2-1 pitch. Swung on and hit in the air to right. Racing towards the corner is the right fielder Mitchell. Still on the move. He makes a lunging backhand grab. Almost around second base was done. Quickly hustling back to the bag at first. Puts the second out on the board on an outstanding running grab on a full sprint by Cal Mitchell headed into the corner. 2 runs across in the inning. 2 down on the board. That'll bring up Nolan Gorman from the left. This is the 25th outing for Schleybaugh with the Marauders this year. He's made 3 spot starts, all in doubleheaders. 4-1 record, 2.4 ERA. That last out brings him into his 49th inning of work on the year. He struck out 37 and walked just 9. First pitch to Gorman. Fastball outside. Begins the left-on-left matchup, 1 ball and no strikes. Schleybaugh has allowed just 13 runs, all earned on 45 hits this year. Opponents coming in, batting .241 against him. Comes set, looking at Dunn off of first base. He'll kick and deal. Gorman hits one high in the air, but playable to left center for Swaggerty. As the center fielder settles underneath it, reaches up with 2 hands to make the grab. Schleybaugh able to close the book on Moose pretty quickly. Another 2-run 6th inning. will bring the Marauders down 6, heading into the home half of the frame. You're tuned in to the Bradenton Marauders Baseball Network.
Welcome to your life.
Bottom of the 6th, Marauders down by 6. Matt and Everett back at you live from Lecom Park. Numbers 8, 9, and 1 due up against Edgar Escobar, Cuban right-hander in his second inning of work. His first pitch to be to Raul Hernandez. It'll be a fastball right down the middle. It's a called strike 1. Nick Economos bounced after 5 1/3 innings. Ike Schleybaugh able to come in and get 2 quick flyouts to close the book on the starter. One way up and in at 95 from Escobar. Hard-throwing right-hander up against the right-handed batting Hernandez, who's 0 for 2 with a flyout to left. He also struck out swinging in the 4th. Alvaro Sejas does not qualify for the win. Only lasted through 4 1/3 innings. Line drive right into the glove of the third baseman Gorman. After a brief hesitation, he's up and firing in plenty of time to nail Hernandez at the bag at first. I think Gorman thought that one might have snuck through the glove, but it was there. He popped up and fired to first quickly. Gorman, the #1 third base prospect in all of minor league baseball. 2 up and 2 down in total against Escobar. He was able to get Dylan Busby to swing and miss at strike 3 in the 5th. Chase Lambert, due up from the right side. Shortstop, or the second baseman, I should say. Batting out of the 9 hole tonight. He's reached base twice. Once via the benefit of an error in the second. He singled in the 4th inning off of Sejas. He'll take a fastball at 94 that's called for a strike. Count goes 0-1. Escobar, the oft-used reliever, pitched twice in back-to-back days in the series between when the Marauders were in Palm Beach and here. Lambert swings and fouls this one back to bring the count 0-2. After Escobar threw 2 innings, giving up 2 runs on 2 hits against the Marauders on August 20th, 3 days later he threw an inning and a third perfect against Fort Myers. Gave up a hit over an inning the very next day on the 24th. Here he is 4 days later. His second outing against Bradenton over the last 8 days and his 4th time being used in that same stretch. Slider in the dirt, taken for a called ball 1. In that outing on the 20th, he was knocked around by Bradenton in the only game that they would win out of the 3-game set last weekend by a 5-1 tally. It was Escobar taking the loss. That's been his only decision thus far. He's 0-1 with Palm Beach. The 1-2 to Lambert. Tipped into the mid on the swing and miss. That'll go as a strikeout for Escobar. It's his second punch-out out of 3 batters faced. First 2 outs on the board quickly and easily here in the home half of the 6th. That'll bring us back to the top of the lineup with Lolo Sanchez working his way around to the right side. 0 for 1. He's walked twice, scored once, and struck out swinging to end the second. Escobar came in last Tuesday after the starter Edgar Gonzalez lasted just 5 innings. His first pitch to Lolo was up and in for a called ball 1. He tossed the 6th and the 7th, and after striking out all 3 batters he faced in the 6th, was roughed up in the second inning of work in the 7th. Slider down and out will bring the count to 2-0. Lolo Sanchez was lifted in that game after just 1 at bat, so he did not face Escobar. Lucas Tankus tripled off the right-hander, the only 3-bagger on the year for Tank. Other highlights included a Daniel Amaral base knock that scored Tankus. He walked Dylan Busby to lead off that second frame of work. We'll miss up and in here to Lolo as well to bring the count to 3-0. Infield's deep, the outfield straight up. Escobar towing the first base side of the rubber. Deals from the full wind. Watching all the way on 3-0. Lolo will take a called strike to bring the count 3 balls and 1 strike. We've been so focused on this game here. Haven't even focused on the Pirates. We're all of a sudden getting roughed up by the Phillies. A 10-3 lead for Philadelphia as Lolo will take called ball 4 downstairs. His 3rd walk of the game. 2 out base on balls will put a runner on first for Travis Swaggerty, who stranded the bases loaded and his last time up in a pop-out. The most recent score for the Phillies is a Gene Segura single in the bottom of the 6th that scored Bryce Harper from second. Again, the Phillies on top 10-3. Other highlights include a JT Realmuto solo home run, Cesar Hernandez with a 2 RBI single, and Bryce Harper with a single in the 5th to score Realmuto. The only runs for the Pirates have been on 2 home runs. 2-run shot for Josh Bell in the 4th, and a solo shot for Starling Marte in the 6th. Phillies on top in the home half of the 6th, 10-3. Swaggerty fouls the first pitch straight back on a fastball. A right-hander starting to get loose beyond the left field fence for Palm Beach. It's Cole Aker. Right-hander wearing number 29. Changeup moving away from Swaggerty. He's a cold ball 1 to even up the count. Sanchez off the bag at first. Already has 1 steal tonight, but down 6. You don't want to sacrifice a base runner. Got a good-sized lead as Escobar comes set from the right. Kicks and deals on 1-1. Swaggerty swings, tips one straight back. That'll hit off the press level and fall back down onto the field of play. A lot of rain around us here in the friendly city of Bradenton, just about an hour south of Tampa, about an hour and a half north of Fort Myers, but as of right now, we are staying dry. A lot of rain coming this weekend as Tropical Storm Dorian has been increased in intensity, now being dubbed a hurricane. Runner breaks, 1-2 pitches in the dirt. Throw down from the catcher. Herrera is not in time. Easily stolen there by Sanchez. His second swipe in as many tries tonight, giving him numbers 12 and 13 here in just 51 games with Bradenton. So another runner in scoring position for Swaggerty. He's 0 for 2 with a ground out and a pop out to go along with a walk and a stolen base. Overall, 8 runs on 12 hits for Palm Beach, 2 on 3 for the Marauders. Escobar set, drops the glove to the belt. The 2-2 pitch swung on and popped up to shallow center. Heading out is the shortstop Perry. He'll call off the second baseman Dunn and make the grab in shallow center field. So Lolo Sanchez walked for the 3rd time, swiped second for the 2nd time. Travis Swaggerty pops out to end an inning for the 2nd time as well. We've played 2/3 of tonight's action through 6 innings. We'll be back with the top of the 7th. Ike Schleybaugh back out to keep the score at 8-2. You're listening to the Bradenton Marauders Baseball Network. Entering into the top of the 7th inning, an 8-2 lead for Palm Beach. The Marauders won the first 2 games of the 4-game set by 9 runs in each of the first 2 contests. They're down 6 tonight. Second inning of work for Ike Schleybaugh will be his first clean inning of work. Lucan Baker swings to the first pitch and clobbers it out to left center field. Swaggerty heading back as this one sneaks over the fence. Lucan Baker, aggressive as they come. First pitch, home run in the 7th, a 9-2 lead for Palm Beach. For Baker, that is his 10th home run of the year, a number which leads the club, also adding on to his team-leading RBI total with his 51st of the season. For Schleybaugh, that's just the 2nd home run that he's allowed. No shame in giving it up to a guy like Baker. All he does is mash. That's if he can put bat on ball. Palm Beach now up 9-2. 7-run deficit for the Marauders in the 7th. First pitch down and into Nick Plummer is a called ball 1. Left-on-left matchup following the leadoff bomb from Baker. Plummer's 2 for 3. Our first-round pick in 2015. Takes a fastball that clips the outer third at 91 for a called strike to even the count. Plummer doubled and scored as part of that 5-run second inning. Had a base knock to lead off the 3rd, but was caught stealing for the first time on the year. Struck out looking in the 5th. Tight breaking slider moves over the outer 3rd for a called strike. But 1 ball and 2 strikes. Schleybaugh hoping to rebound, giving up just his 2nd home run of the year. Only other one came back on July 23rd at Clearwater. His pitch swung on and popped into the left field air. That one falling into the empty seats beyond the left field bleachers. Count stays 1-2 to Plummer. Meanwhile, last time out for Schleybaugh was against Daytona. Was able to come in and toss 5 pitches, 4 for strikes. He only faced 1 batter back on August 24th in a Marauders victory. Plummer pops this one up weakly to left center. Heading in is Lolo Sanchez. He'll call off the center fielder Swaggerty, slamming on the brakes, reaching up and making the grab. Plummer retired for the 2nd time in a row and of the night. It's the first out of the 7th, coming on the Plummer pop-up. Here's Chase Pender, right-handed batting right fielder, who is 1 of 3, singled home a run in the 2nd. Lined out to straightaway center field in the 3rd and flied out to right in the 5th. Wrapped up that 1-2-3 inning against Nick Economos. Left on right matchup begins with a check swing on an off-speed pitch. It's a called strike nonetheless. The count goes 0-1. Want to wish a very happy birthday to Hall of Famer Jim Thome, who turns 49 today. Bender swings and misses out a fastball, nothing into the count. Jim Thome turned 49 612 home runs. One of just a handful of players ever to do that in the big leagues. Career best 52 bombs in 2002 with the Cleveland Indians. This pitch bounced down and inside on a slider to Pender. The career numbers for Thome are some video game stuff. A .402 career on base percentage. He worked a ton of walks. A .554 slugging percentage. That adds up to a .956 OPS. 612 home runs. Happy 49th birthday to Jim Thome. Change up off the outer third is a called ball. Count goes all square at 2-2. Schleybaugh takes the side from Raul Hernandez. Here comes the pitch. Swung on, chopped on the third base side. Backhand grab from Busby. Long throw from the hole on a bounce and in time. Second straight night for Busby with a similar looking play. Falling over to the backhand side on the cut of the outfield grass. A laser strike on a bounce right into the glove of the first baseman, Mason Martin. Busby can hit, he can field, showing off the leather there. Check it out on our MILB.TV replay. The degree of difficulty ramped up to 11 on that last one from Buzz. After the leadoff home run, next two batters retired quickly for Schleybaugh. That'll bring up Dennis Ortega, who is hitless tonight. First pitch fouled straight back into the mitt on a 93-mile-an-hour heater. This is Schleybaug's fourth outing against Palm Beach on the year, just the second here at Lecom Park. Nice looking slider that clips the outer third at 84. Count 0-2 to Ortega. Schleybaugh first appeared against Palm Beach here at Lecom on May 11th. Tossed an inning, gave up a run on 2 hits. Needed 11 pitches to do so. Meanwhile, here's the 0-2. Ortega swings, line drive, crack to left, sprinting back is Lolo. On the warning track, he'll leap and make the grab. But the damage done. Lucan Baker takes the first pitch of the 7th, deposits it over the fence in left center. That expands the lead to 9-2 for Palm Beach. It's stretch time in Bradenton. Get up and move around. When we come back, it'll be the bottom of the 7th. Marauders down by 7. Looking to get something going here on the Marauders Baseball Network. A new arm atop the mound for the Palm Beach Cardinals, coming out of the stretch break here in the 7th inning. With a 7-run lead, it'll be the right-hander out of the University of Tampa, Cole Aker. 6'2", 205 pounder, hailing out of Memphis, Tennessee, wearing number 29. 18th round pick last year out of UT, up against the number 3, 4, and 5 spots. Due up for the Marauders, coming out of the stretch break, trailing by a 9-2 tally. First pitch off speed look, up in the zone, called for a strike. Aker 1-1 with a 2.14 ERA in 21 innings with Palm Beach. Picks the glove over the head and deals from the full line on a changeup and misses up and out to even the count to Martin. Final line for Edgar Escobar, who very likely could get the win. Inning in a third, no runs, no hits, walked a batter. It's the third base on balls for Lolo Sanchez in the game. Escobar struck out 2, took him 23 pitches and 13 strikes to work through his inning and a third. Coming in after Alvaro Sejas finished just 1 out shy of being able to qualify for the win. Aker to the dish on 1-1. Backing Martin away at 93. That one nearly clocked him in the knee, but Mason able to just dive out of the way. He's 0 for 2, walked back in the first inning. One of the 6 walks tossed by Alvaro Sejas. Martin then popped out to center in the third and struck out swinging in the 5th against Escobar. Here comes the 2-1 and a right-on-left matchup from Aker. Fastball moving away. He called for ball 3 at 91. Aker was added to the Palm Beach roster on June 29th. Since then, he's made 18 outings heading into the night. Again, a 1-1 record and a 2.14 ERA, including 1 save. Martin watching all the way on a 3-1 fastball. He thought it was ball 4. Turned and was starting to walk towards the first base bag, but instead it's a called strike as the count goes 3-2. In 21 innings, I should say, Aker has struck out 16 and walked 6. Has not allowed a long ball with Palm Beach as part of his 8 runs, 5 allowed on 13 hits. 3-2 payoff to Martin. Able to slap this one down the left field line and out of play. Able to stay alive there. Mason Martin, who is number 1 across all of minor league baseball in RBIs, at 83 heading into his tent with the Marauders. In 81 games with Low A Greensboro. He's got 43, just under 50 games with Bradenton, 126 overall. The 3-2 payoff. Another one slapped straight back by Martin. Just able to stay alive and work it from Aker. 20 outings, including 8 starts in low A Peoria. Aker was 0-3 with a 6.17 ERA, 3 saves and 4 ops. In 46 2/3, though, he struck out 61 to 46 walks. Almost feast or famine exclusively for Aker. 3-2 pitch, another one fouled back by Martin. Third straight foul ball on a full count. Aker out of nearby Tampa. Easy to remember. 18th round pick in 18. Martin, another foul ball, pushed foul. It's a bit redundant, isn't it? Foul ball, pushed foul. He chops one foul, we'll say, down the first base side. Keeps the count full at 3-2. Aker, the grandson of former big leaguer Jack Aker, who pitched at the College of the Sequoias before making his big league debut in 1964. Wouldn't you know it? Another foul ball from Martin, this time on an off-speed pitch knocked straight down. Aker's grandfather, Jack, began his big league career in 1964 with the Kansas City Athletics. Pitched there until 1968 when the club moved to Oakland. A career record of 47 and 45. Club moved to Oakland. A career record of 47 and 45. 495 games all out of the bullpen. Martin reaches for a pitch up and out of the zone. It'll be Cole Aker winning the battle. After 5 foul balls, Martin goes fishing for a pitch upstairs and strikes out swinging for the second time in as many at-bats. 1 out, nobody on in the 7th. That'll bring up Rodolfo Castro, switch hitting shortstop, who's going to do it from the left once again. First pitch to him, swinging right through it on a 93-mile-an-hour heater. And the count goes 0-1. Cole Aker also had a cousin named Parker Bangs, who pitched 3 years in rookie ball for the Royals. Not great results, 0-3 with a 10.08 ERA, just 17 outings over 3 years for Parker Bangs, former South Carolina Gamecock. But it's Cole Aker, drafted out of UT, University of Tampa last year. 22-year-old deals on 0-1. Look out, a line drive screamer just over the head of the third base dugout. Logan Butler, our cameraman down in the well there, also had to get out of the way. Glad Logan's okay. We got Logan downstairs. We got Jason Boone upstairs running the high home camera. Of course, our director, Jack Conarchy, calling the shots and pushing the buttons. And the 0-2 pitch. Castro leans out of the way of a running fastball in 94. So the count goes 1-2 against him. Castro got the Marauders on the board in the first inning. The rollover ground out to first that scored Lolo Sanchez from third. Checks the swing. That fastball down and in will even the count up at 2-2. Castro followed up his RBI ground out with a swinging strikeout in the third. He walked, stole third, was eventually plated on a Tankus RBI ground out. Been the most recent offense for Bradenton. 2-2, hammer to shallow center. Sprinting in is Tyler Reichenborn. It drops in front of the center fielder. Lolo Sanchez reaches base for the second time. First time via the benefit of a hit. It's just the 4th hit of the night for the Marauders. One of those hits coming off the bat of Cal Mitchell, who's stepping in as we speak from the right or the left side. Had a base knock in the 5th inning. Nine runs on 13 hits for Palm Beach. 2 on 4 for Bradenton. They scored their first run without the benefit of a base knock. First pitch to Mitchell is up and away. Called for ball 1 on an off-speed pitch from Aker. His last time out was on the 24th against Fort Myers, 2 1/3. Roughed up a bit, took him 48 pitches to get through those 2 1/3 innings. 2 runs on 4 hits, including a walk and a strikeout. Misses high and outside on another off-speed pitch to bring the count 2-0. Aker came in back on August 21st against the Marauders and recorded a single out on 4 pitches, 3 of which were for strikes. Wrapped up the game at a big-time win for Palm Beach by a 9-2 tally. Martin swings, hits one in the air to right field. Heading back to the track is the right fielder, Pender. This ball is gone. Cal Mitchell pushing that one out onto the boardwalk. And the Marauders with some life, now trailing by a 9-4 tally. Cal Mitchell with his 15th home run of the year, expanding on his career high, a team high 64 runs batted in. It's the 5th hit for Bradenton. It's their first run scored on a hit. Nobody on with one down. That'll bring up Lucas Tankis. He had an RBI and a ground out in the 5th inning. Fouls this first pitch straight back. Prior to the Mitchell home run just now, that Tankis rollover ground out to third in the 5th was the most recent offense for Bradenton. We're here coming out of the stretch break in the 7th. Tankis struck out swinging to start the 4th and grounded out to short to begin the 2nd. 0-1 pitch in on the hands because called for ball 1. Tankis, the former dirtbag out of Long Beach State. Drafted in the 26th round 2 years ago. Spent all year last year with Bradenton. Much better results in year 2. Curveball stays up and in. Aker misses for ball 2. These last 2 outings for Aker against Bradenton, including tonight, have been his only outings against the club. Again, added to the roster on June 29th. Another curveball. This one missing outside to bring the count 3-1. These two sides faced off almost in back-to-back series in May, and then not again until August. A lot happened in that stretch as well. 3-1 fastball right down the middle is a called strike 2 to bring the count full. Pirates still trailing the Phils by a 10-3 score. Jeffrey Ramirez pitching to Corey Dickerson as we speak. In the bottom of the 7th in Philly. 3-2 fastball up and out, called for ball 4. So Tankis reaches for the first time tonight via a walk here in the home half of the 7th. That'll send out the catcher Ivan Herrera prior to the at-bat for Dylan Busby, who is 1 for 2, a single, a walk, and a strikeout in his 3 plate appearances thus far. Couple of bodies up and moving around beyond the left field fence. Another right-hander starting to get loose for the Palm Beach Cards. .25 pitches, just 14 strikes for Aker. He's given up a home run and a walk to go along with a Rodolfo Castro base hit to straightaway center field. Right on right matchup with 1 down and 1 on. His first pitch to Busby. Swung on and missed. Fastball upstairs fooled him at 93. Busby singled in the 2nd, walked in the 4th, and struck out swinging in the 5th. A team record 22 home runs for Dylan Busby. This one swung on and chopped foul down the third base side. Getting down to the backstretch of the year, you can start to look at the all-time records. Buzz has the home run record. He's closing in on a record that he may not wish to have. Willie Garcia struck out 158 times in 2013 for Bradenton. That's the most in team history. Fastball downstairs, called for a ball. The strikeout for Busby in his last time up was his 155th. He's already in 2nd place. We'll see what happens for Busby. Here's the 1-2 out of the stretch. Swung on, popped up, straight back. The catcher Herrera loses the mask, works his way back to the screen. This one's going to drop in the 2nd row behind the Marauders' first base home side dugout. Looking through some of these league records, or team records, I should say. Quincy Lattimore leads with 518 at-bats in a single season. Very unlikely that Cal Mitchell, who leads the team in at-bats now with 450, will reach that mark. Another one fought straight off the hands by Busby to keep the count, a ball and 2 strikes. Robbie Grossman scored 127 runs for Bradenton back in 2011. Travis Swaggerty leads the league this year with 78. That one's not going to be caught. 1-2 slider, called for strike 3 for Busby. That puts him within 2 of the strikeout record, but he's got the home run record, so there's some give and take there. Both outs recorded via the K for Cole Aker here in the 7th, and that'll be the end of his outing. Another mid-inning pitching change will send the manager Dan Billardello out from the third base dugout. That'll bring out a left-hander from the left field bullpen. We got a pitching change here on the Bradenton Marauders Baseball Network. Sidewinding southpaw Patrick Dayton hit the toss with 2 down in the bottom half of the 7th inning. Marauders down by a 9-4 score. Dayton throwing in back-to-back games. Gave up 2 home runs last night in the 7th as well. First pitch slider, clipping the outer third to Raul Hernandez as a called strike. Cole Aker needed 31 pitches, couldn't even get through a full inning of work. He struck out 2, gave up 2 runs on a Cal Mitchell home run. Walked Lucas Tankis as well. He's on first. Hernandez with a line drive, dropping in shallow center field for a base knock. So it's the 4th different runner to reach for Bradenton on the inning, and the 2nd different pitcher used by Palm Beach. It's the first hit of the night for Hernandez as well. To 63rd hit of the year as he advances Tankis from first to second base. That'll bring up Chase Lambert from the right side. Partial line on Aker. Can't quite close it yet with Tankis on second, charge to him if he were to score. 2 runs, 2 earned on 2 hits, over 2/3 of an inning. Walked 1, struck out 2, 31 pitches to record 2 outs. 19 of them were for strikes. Dayton 3-2 with a 3.7 ERA. Kicks and deals from the left side. First pitch upstairs to Lambert, who's 1 for 3 on the night. Dayton, the San Diego native, standing 6 feet tall, a stringy 170-pounder, drafted in the 25th round 2 years ago. Samuel Reyes up and tossing beyond the right field fence. Looking to come in the 8th for the Marauders. Here's the 1-0 and a left on right. Lambert takes a fastball over the inner third for a called strike. Patrick Dayton, former Kent State Golden Flash, pitching in back-to-back games. 25th round pick 2 years ago. 24-year-old, 3-2 with a 3.72 ERA, making his league-leading 42nd appearance out of the bullpen. Comes set looking to second, gives Tank another glance. 1-1 pitch to the dish, misses inside on a fastball. Dayton got roughed up last night, almost surprised that they're going back to the well. He struck out 60 in 58 innings, but he gave up 2 of his 4 home runs on the year and a 5-batter stretch in the 7th last night. Mason Martin welcomed to the game with a first pitch home run. Rodolfo Castro singled, and Dylan Busby blasted another bomb in the 7th frame. Swinging a ground ball, scooped up by the third baseman, Gorman, sidecar left. It goes the short way to second base. It's the second baseman Dunn standing on. Lambert grounds out 5-4 in a fielder's choice, but a Cal Mitchell 2-run shot brings the Marauders within 5. We're on to the top of the 8th, a 9-4 lead for Palm Beach when we return on the Marauders Baseball Network. Bradenton creeping closer in the bottom of the 7th inning. A Cal Mitchell 2-run shot. This scored a 9-4. You're telling me there's a chance. It's Samuel Reyes, the right-hander out of Bajos de Jaina in the Dominican Republic, on to try and keep the score where it stands. He'll face off against Ivan Herrera to lead off in the 8th inning. Samuel wearing number 31, the 5'9", 180-pounder, picked up as an international free agent by the Pirates back in 2016. Herrera 2 for 2. First pitch to him is a fastball just outside at 94. The final line for Reich Schleybaugh, who came in and allowed 1 hit. It was a leadoff home run to Lucan Baker in the 7th. 1 2/3 innings. 1 hit, 1 run, it was earned. No walks, no strikeouts. Like through 20 pitches, 14 of which were for strikes. He'll leave in line with a no decision. Herrera watches a pitch up by the chin. 94 on another heater to bring the count 2-0. Reyes entering into his 35th outing on the year, his 25th outing with Bradenton. 1-4 with a 2.92 ERA. Deals from the stretch on 2-0. Herrera swings and rolls one foul down the third base side on a hot shot to move the count to 2-1. Reyes entering into his 25th outing. He's made a trio of spot starts and double headers. 52 1/3 innings. He struck out 49 and walked 15. 18 runs, 17 earned on 46 hits. Opponents batting .244 off of Samuel Reyes. Comes set with the glove at the chest. 2-1 to Herrera is spotted up at 95 off the outer third. Guy like Reyes, a high-effort pitcher if there ever was one. He's just 5'9", but throws in the mid to, dare I say, upper 90s at times. Got off to a blazing start in low A Greensboro before his promotion to Bradenton. Deals a curveball downstairs, and the count goes full to Ivan Herrera. He's reached thrice. He's scored thrice. RBI single in the first, eventually brought around on a Tyler Reichenborn home run. Hit by a pitch and scored in the fourth off of Economos, and singled and scored in the sixth. The 3-2 payoff. Swung on. Picked up on the first hop by the third baseman Busby. He'll set the feet and fire a missile over to first base. Gloved by Mason Martin in time. So Ray is able to solve the riddle that has been Ivan Herrera. Gets him to record an out for the first time tonight on a rollover grounder picked up by the third baseman Busby. 1 up and 1 down. So far, so good for Reyes. That'll bring up the number 9 batter Reichenborn, who's having a coming out party tonight. Made his Palm Beach debut yesterday. Finished 1 of 3 with 1 of just 3 hits for Palm Beach and a 9-0 shutout loss. He's 2 for 3 tonight with a 2-run home run and an RBI double. Takes a first pitch fastball downstairs, right on right matchup. Starts down 1 ball, no strikes. Palm Beach with 9 runs. Herrera and Reichenborn, the bottom 2 lineup batters, I should say, in their lineup, have plated 5 of those runs. Fastball down the middle, called for a strike to even the count. Other than the Lucan Baker home run and the Chase Pender RBI single, every single scoring play has either started or ended with Herrera and Reichenborn for Palm Beach. That's 7 of 9. That's not bad. Broken bat chopper off the glove of the pitcher. Charging is the second baseman Lambert. He can't get it on a bare hand effort. A purely reactionary leap for Reyes as it tipped off the end of that black glove. Reichenborn on with what's ruled as a base hit. That puts him a triple away from the cycle through 4 at-bats. Back to the top of the lineup we go. Here comes Nick Dunn. Second baseman is 2 of 4. After striking out in each of his first 2 at-bats, he's doubled and singled, driven in a run each time. He's in from the left side atop the lineup. 5th round pick out of Maryland last season. First pitch to him, right down the middle on a changeup at 84, called for a strike. Now, Reyes started out the year absolutely amazingly with low A Greensboro. In 10 outings, he lasted 17 1/3 innings, struck out 23 and walked 8, a 0.52 ERA, and a 0.73 batting average against. Misses in the dirt with the curveball to even the count. He gave up 1 earned run on just 4 hits across 10 outings. His whip, walks, and hits per innings pitched, 0.69. A nice start to the year for Sammy. He's in just his 3rd year as a pro as well. 1-1 curveball cracked in the gap to right center field. That'll be down. Rounding second, heading to third is Reichenborn. Right fielder Mitchell able to cut it off and limit Nick Dunn to a single. His 3rd hit of the game. They've come in each of his last 3 at-bats. His runners in the corners with 1 down against Reyes. With the shortstop Michael Perry doing from the right side. He's 1 for 4 on the night. Singled as part of that 10-batter, 7-hit second inning. Other than that, a pair of groundouts, 1 to short in the first, 1 to second in the fourth, and it's the first batter faced by Ike Schleybaugh coming out of the pen. He popped out to right in the 6th inning. First pitch, curveball, right down the middle at 77, called for a strike. Reyes pitches with a fastball in the mid-90s, a good-looking curveball in the upper 70s, and a changeup in the low 80s. 3 very different pitches. He's used them for some success this year. Another curveball on 0-1, a big swing and a hefty miss for Michael Perry as the count goes 0-2. Reyes did not pitch in the series against Palm Beach. His last outing was over the weekend against Daytona. He tossed an inning and 2/3 against the Tortugas, didn't allow a run on 2 hits. He hit a batter and struck out 2 over 41 pitches. "15 hits and 9 runs for Palm Beach tonight. 6 and 4 respectively for Bradenton. Here's the 0-2 from Reyes. Perry takes a curveball just high, apparently. That was like strike 3 territory, but instead the count will go 1-2. It's been a tight zone tonight from Cord Kostler as he was added as a replacement umpire today. Dexter Kelly, his partner in the field, currently stationed beyond the mound. So here comes the 1-2 pitch from Sammy. Another curveball. This one crushed but foul. Perry pulled it down the left field line. This is the 3rd outing for Reyes against Palm Beach. Both of the other ones came in May. May 11th, tossed 2 1/3 perfect against the Cardinals. Struck out 3 over 25 pitches. May 19th, he was an inning perfect. 6 pitches, 6 strikes, and 3 outs. So these hits charged to him are the only hits that Palm Beach has had against him all year. Perry lunging for a curveball. He can't connect. Goes for strike 3. First punch out of the night for Reyes will put a big-time second out on the board in the 8th. That'll bring up the number 3 batter, Nolan Gorman, the 3rd baseman, who's 1 of 4. We were talking with Joel Harmon of Prospect Dugout earlier about some of the showcases and events that they put on. Gorman was one of the all-stars of the showcase circuit, if you will, in the high school ranks last season, where he really got discovered en route to a first-round pick last year. First pitch fastball outside from Reyes starts out the right-on-left matchup 1-0. He was one of the top sluggers in the 2018 class. Was all over the home run derbies and showcase circuits, including the MLB All-Star High School Home Run Derby in Miami, which he won. Pops this one up off the end of the bat to straightaway center field. Travis Swaggerty settled underneath. The center fielder reaches up with 2 hands to make the grab. So Sammy Reyes allows his first 2 hits in his 3rd outing against Palm Beach on the year, but he's able to strand a pair of runners on. Time running out for the Marauders. They enter into the bottom of the 8th down 5 with just 6 outs left to give. See what they can muster up when we return on the Marauders Baseball Network. Getting late here at Lecom Park. It's the Marauders down 9-4. Leadoff man due in. It's Lolo Sanchez up against Patrick Dayton, the southpaw. First pitch of the 8th inning from Dayton is inside. His 7th pitch misses for his 3rd ball. Sammy Reyes came in and gave up 2 base hits in the 8th inning, but stranded him on. A ground out, a pop out, and a strikeout. Now the 3 outs were placed on the board. Sanchez taps this one down the 3rd base side, called a foul ball on the last hop by our home plate umpire, Cord Kostler. That'll send Sanchez taking a slow walk back to the dish with the count 1-1. He is 0 for 1 with 3 walks. Walks in the 1st, 4th, and 6th innings, with the first and last of those walks ending in a swipe of second base. Lolo now with 13 steals and 19 tries with the Marauders. Dayton came in after Cole Aker was unable to get the final out of his only inning of work. Leading the league in appearances, deals on a slider that's a called strike 2. Meanwhile, the Marauders with a right-hander getting up and loosing the pen. Looks to be Shea Murray, the former Ohio State Buckeye. Sanchez slaps this one out of play, foul, and out of play to the first base side. This pitch hit on the ground, a bounding ball to second, scooped up by Nick Dunn. He'll turn and fire to first in time. It's the first ball that Lolo Sanchez has put in play all night. Goes as his 2nd put out on the board to go along with his 3 free passes. That'll bring up Travis Swaggerty, who's hitless, 0 for 3 with the walk thus far. Well, we wished a happy 49th birthday to Jim Thome earlier. Happy birthday to Ron Guidry, turning 69. Left-hander who is most known for his time with the New York Yankees. The Louisiana Lightning, Ron Guidry, turning 69 today. Swaggerty taps an off-speed pitch straight back. Only time that Swag has reached was on the 3rd. He walked and then stole 2nd. Swings and hits this one out of play beyond the left field side. That goes quickly, 0-2. Well, this game has felt long. It's going to be over 3 hours by the time it wraps up. Not nearly as long as on this day, 1930. Tell you why in a moment. Swaggerty hits a ground ball to first. Backhand grab by the first baseman Baker. The underhand flip to the pitcher Dayton covering. A 3-1 ground out following a 4-3 ground out. Now the 2 outs have been put on the board. Here comes Mason Martin, who's 0 for 3. Again, August 20th, 1930. The Cardinals edged the Cubs in 20 innings. The opening game of a 4-game set at Wrigley Field. That was the longest game of the 1930 season. And with the win in that marathon outing, the Cardinals moved within 5.5 games of the first place Cubs. Martin watching on a slider downstairs, called for a ball. Andy High singled in Taylor Dotit to give the St. Louis Cardinals a lead in the top of the 20th. And reliever Sile Johnson, in his 12th inning of work, stranded the potential go-ahead run on base. Would have been the game-winning run to edge out the Cubs in an 8-7 victory for their 9th win in a row. Martin takes another spinner for a called strike. Again, if you didn't hear me right, Sile Johnson, in 12 innings of relief, was able to earn the win. This one popped up, left side foul ground. Third baseman Gorman finding his way to the wall, reaching over, he makes the grab. He made a similar play with the bases loaded off the bat of Swaggerty in the 4th. Does so here to end the 8th in a 1-2-3 perfect frame. I think he flipped it into a kid in the seat, and the kid threw it back. That's a bit of home cooking there. Top of the 9th, 9-4 lead for Palm Beach. It'll be Shea Murray on to try and keep the score as such here on the Marauders Baseball Network. Entering into the top of the 9th inning, last ups for the Palm Beach Cardinals, who lead your Bradenton Marauders by a 9-4 tally. Matt Everett back at you live at Leacom Park. It'll be the right-hander Shea Murray, drafted out of Ohio State 2 years ago to try and keep the score as such. Here's Lucan Baker. First pitch up and in. 97 on the gun, called for ball 1. Murray in after just a single inning of work on the hill for Sammy Reyes. He allowed 2 hits, no runs, no walks, and a strikeout over 19 pitches, 12 for strikes. Baker takes a heater just downstairs at 94. Count goes to 2-0. Murray, the 25-year-old drafted out of Ohio State in the 18th round in 2017. Wearing number 35, standing 6'6", tipping the scales at 223 pounds. Baker pops this one straight back. Count goes 2 balls and 1 strike to the big-bodied first baseman who homered off of Schleybaugh in the 7th. Was the second of his 2 hits to this point. 2 for 4 in the game. Ground out and a strikeout mixed in. Murray out of the stretch gets a check swing on a fastball. I guess just off the outer third to bring the count to 2-1. Murray with the Marauders 1-0 with a 5.01 ERA since being added to the roster on June 9th. This is his 26th outing. Fastball, broken bat, bloop to left field. It'll be the left fielder Sanchez to call off the center fielder Swaggerty as Baker retired for the 3rd time in 5 at-bats. That'll bring up the left fielder Nick Plummer, who's 2 for 4. Murray in 32 and now 2/3 innings with Bradenton has struck out 53 and walked 26. 19 runs, 18 earned on 23 hits. Opponents batting just 193 against him. It was the walks that had plagued him early on. He's been absolutely stellar over his last 15 or so outings. Club leader in saves with 6 as well. First pitch swinging as Plummer taps one straight back. Murray's ERA at one point, and June 13th was 15.43. Since then, he's brought it down in almost every outing since. The only time it's gone up was his second most recent outing on the 17th of August. 0-1 and off the end of the bat to left. Drifting back to the track is Lolo. Left fielder just in front of the wall will rein this one in. Back-to-back pop-outs to left field off the bats of Baker and Plummer respectively. Have the first 2 outs on the board in quick and easy order for Shea Murray thus far. That'll bring up Chase Pender, who's 1 for 3 with an RBI base knock in the 2nd. After a Scott Kingery double in the bottom of the 8th brought the score to 12-3 for the Phillies over the Pirates. That game just now final. Mitch Keller with the loss to move to 1-3. Murray does a first pitch fastball at the knees. That's called for a strike. Aside from the base knock in the second inning, Bender has lined out to center in the third, flied out to right in the fifth, and rolled over on a ground ball out to third in the seventh. Slider at 86, called for a strike to bring the count 0-2. The final line for Mitch Keller in that game, 4 innings, 8 runs on 11 hits. Jeffrey Ramirez came out of the pen and threw 4 innings, another 4 runs on 6 hits. Pender swings and misses at strike 3. Slider inside fooled him. Shea Murray came in and took care of business, a 1-2-3 ninth in a quick and easy fashion. The Marauders need 5 to tie, 6 to walk it off. We'll see if they can do it. Don't go anywhere. Bottom of the ninth coming up from Lecom Park. It all comes down to this. The Marauders trailing 9-4, 5 to tie, 6 to walk it off. It'll have to come against Ramon Santos. Bradenton pitching in his second straight game. He threw an inning and a third last night. Both Dayton, who was the last pitcher for Palm Beach, and Santos throwing in back-to-back games. That's something the Marauders have not done all year at all. Rodolfo Castro in from the left to begin the comeback bid. He's 1 for 3 thus far. First pitch curveball from Santos. A called strike over the outer third. Brings the count 0-1. Final line for Dayton. An inning and a third. 1 hit, but no runs, no walks, and no strikeouts. 17 pitches, 13 for strikes. He'll leave with a no decision. 0-1 changeup high. Called for a ball at 82. Santos wearing number 23. Right-hander standing at 6'2", listed at 160 pounds out of Villa Altagracia in the Dominican Republic. 24-year-old with a 1-1 record and a 3.05 ERA, making his 34th outing of the season tonight. Castro lines this one straight back, keeps the count 1-2 strikes. How about Shea Murray? He came in and was able to retire the side in order in the top of the ninth. Took 10 pitches, 7 strikes, 2 flyouts to left, and a swinging strikeout by Chase Pender to end the ninth inning in order. 1-2 from Santos. Curveball swung on and missed at 82. Castro down on strikes for the second time tonight. It's the 63rd punch out of the year for Santos. And the first out of the bottom of the ninth is on the board. Nobody on ahead of Cal Mitchell, who homered in his last time up. It's been the only 2 runs batted in tonight for the Marauders on a hit. A couple of RBI groundouts in the first and the fifth off the bats of Castro and Tankis respectively. Followed up by the Mitchell mash. And scored Castro from first in the 7th. Right on left matchup begins with a 94-mile-an-hour fastball, belt high and over the heart of the dish. 56 1/3 innings for Santos. He struck out 63 and walked 23. 21 runs, 19 earned on 51 hits. Opponents coming in batting .249 against the Dominican right-hander. Curveball swung on and tipped back into the mitt. Count goes quickly, 0-2. Mitchell with a 2-hit game, including a single and a stolen base in the 5th, part of a double steal to put Castro from second to third. And that extra 90 feet for Rodolfo proved to be important as he scored on the Tankis ground out. Bouncing ball on 0-2, and worn off the upper chest area of the catcher Herrera. The old 56-footer will put the first ball on the board against Mitch. He lined out to left in the first inning and ripped a line drive that somehow found the glove of the starter Alvaro Sejas in the 3rd inning. This thing was crushed. Sejas just happened to have that left hand there. Santos, a seasoned veteran, if you will, making his 3rd stint with Palm Beach this year. He's set at the belt. Here comes the 1-2. Change up just off the outer third, evens up the count. In 2017, Santos was added to the Palm Beach roster mid-season, posted a 5-3 record, 2.81 ERA, 27 outings, including 6 starts spanning over 64 innings. Mitchell swings and misses on a curveball down and in. Throw down from the catcher will not be made. Court cost their home plate umpire ruling that Herrera was able to glove it before it touched the dirt. Back-to-back punch-outs for Santos. Have the Marauders with their backs up against the wall, down to their final out here in the bottom of the 9th. With just 1 out to give, you can't hit a 5-run home run in general, or with nobody on base. So Lucas Tankis is going to have to start something. The Marauders are going to try and complete the comeback bid. Tankis 0 for 3, but earned that aforementioned ground out in the 5th. Big swing and a miss. First pitch fastball blown by him at 94. Only time Tankis has reached tonight was on a walk in the 7th. He grounded out to third in both the 2nd and the 5th, earning a ribby in the latter of those two. Struck out swinging in the 4th. One of the 5 strikeouts and 6 walks for Alvaro Sejas. That fastball inside, called for a ball to even the count. Santos pitched in just 4 games last year for Palm Beach before getting called up to Double-A Springfield. Tankis swings over a tumbling curveball downstairs, and with that, for the first time tonight, the Marauders down to their final strike, trailing 9-4. Wind blowing out to right as we're above the 3-hour threshold this evening. The 1-2 pitch. Tankis started to go around, able to hold up on a diving curveball. Count goes all square at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Well, tomorrow, it'll be Gavin Wallace, the 5-8 record, and a 4.28 ERA, making the final home start of the year for the Marauders. A 6:30 start here at Lecomte Park on a thirsty Thursday, brought to you by Budweiser and Ticket Sarasota. Another curveball in the dirt, another check swing for Tankis held up, and the count goes full at 3-2. We're into Gilligan's Island territory. A 3-hour tour. 9 runs on 15 hits for Palm Beach, 4 on 6 for the Marauders. Both teams have committed an error thus far. The count full at 3 balls and 2 strikes with 2 outs to Tankis in the bottom of the 9th inning. Santos set. He deals. Tankis takes a called ball 4 off the inside. Santos, after striking out the first 2 batters, issues a base on balls to Lucas Tankis. That's the way to start the comeback trail. Here's Dylan Busby, who is 1 for 3, a couple of strikeouts and a single to go along with the walk. Santos, through 15 pitches, has tossed just 8 strikes. Tankis off the bag at first. Santos only deals out of the stretch. First pitch to Buzz, inside, backs the hips away. That 93-mile-an-hour pinner would not have felt good had it clubbed Busby there. He leads the team in hit by pitches as well at 10. I think that's a number that nobody wants to lead the club in. It's boosted the OBP of Busby to 312 entering the night. 1-0 curveball dropped at the knees for a called strike to even the count. Busby, the home run champion for the Marauders. No Bradenton batter has ever clubbed 20. Busby's got 22. We'll look to first for Santos. No hold on the bag for Tankis. Bounces a pitch in the dirt. Good block by the catcher Herrera. I mentioned it earlier. He's the number 6 prospect in the system, but Ivan Herrera is not just a batter. He's an outstanding defensive backstop. Santos keeping up the stretch. 9 strikes, 9 balls out of his 18 total offerings. He's set on 2-1. The pitch. Swung on, chopped in front of the plate. Busby hits a foul ball, and for the 2nd time tonight now, the Marauders down to their final strike. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs to the 3rd baseman, Dylan Busby. Baker in the back pocket of Tankis off the bag at first. Santos bent over at the waist as he'll take the sign. Comes set, raises the glove, and drops it to the belt. The 2-2. Curveball down the middle, called for strike 3. That's your ball game. Ramon Santos striking out 3 of the 4 batters he faces in the 9th inning, capping off a 9-4 win for the Palm Beach Cards. After the Marauders won 10-1 and 9-0 in the first 2 games, Palm Beach with 5 runs in the 2nd. Another couple of tack-on runs throughout the rest of the contest. They win by 9-4. The Marauders, 4 runs on 6 hits and an error. Palm Beach, 9 runs on 15 hits and an error. Final home game of the year tomorrow. It'll be Gavin Wallace taking the hill. 5-8 record and a 4.28 ERA for Wally. 6'4", 216-pound right-hander. Drafted in the 15th round 2 years ago by the Pirates. 9-4 loss. Be back at you tomorrow at 6:30 on the first pitch, 6:20 on the pregame show. I'm Matt Neverett saying thank you for tuning in and wanting to remind you that in baseball, as in life, there will always be a tomorrow, so don't sweat the small stuff. We'll come at you right here, right then on the Bradenton Marauders Baseball Network.